Welcome to Champagne Football Lemonade Banter. This season is brought to you by the Lightweight Athletic Club.
Whatever you're watching us on, please don't forget to like and subscribe.
Right, welcome to the first episode of the Australian Championship segment of Champagne Football. The dustiest episode I think we'll have. Jordy just back from 3 days in Melbourne. Jordy Figon.
Yep.
Chaz just back for you Cairns.
3 days in
3 days in Cairns with UNSW, and myself just back for Byron Bay with the spirit end of the season. So we've got a wee smoothie, got a Powerade,
and we've got Eccentric pulled us through with the brownies.
Brownies are sorted, right? Well, obviously the Championship show's a wee bit different from the NPL show we've had over the last 2 years. First for everything, I suppose, with Championship, but we're going to discuss the Championship week to week when it starts. We'll have, I believe, try to get some highlights involved, some player interviews as normal, but try to make it more of a week to week show looking at the results. Obviously less games, so if you're going to be watching Championship closely, hopefully this can be a show you can watch weekly to catch up on all things regarding results, goals, players of the matches, big moments. On top of that, of course, they've got 2 weeks of lead up. So the next 2 weeks, Chaz and I and whoever we've got in today, obviously we've got Jordy Figon, we're going to discuss the groups stage by stage. So today we'll be looking at Group C, mainly because of who's we got on guest with Jordy Figon, used to be with Preston, myself obviously with Spirit, and then Chaz is going to run us through Avondale and Canberra, Croatia. So before we get stuck into all that nonsense, Jordy, welcome to the show, mate.
Thanks for having me, boys.
Right, class.
I know we've had a few knockbacks, but like I was saying to Chaz
What
before,
do you mean a few knockbacks?
a few knockbacks while we were going head to head for the MPL2 Championship. I didn't really want to have anything to do with Chaz, so
No one usually does, mate.
I kept that secret. But no, it's good. It's good to be here. It's always good to see some good faces.
Aye, class. Well, we can probably just, before we get, I know that obviously don't want to talk too much about MPL, but it'd be stupid not to mention ST Raiders getting promoted for MPL2.
Yeah,
Shite goal.
Yeah, one of the worst I've ever seen. Very, very lucky.
We're hoping that a few people outside of New South Wales will be watching us. If you haven't checked out ST Raiders' goal against Central Coast Mariners to get them promoted away from home, it's a fucking worldie.
Oh, it's outrageous, man.
Yeah, it's probably it's the best goal I've seen in person.
Aye.
A goal fitting to sort of win something like that anyway, with promotion. But huge for the club, huge for the team. Obviously, still disappointed that we missed out on the top championship, but we'll take second and promotion any day of the week. So.
And how was the party afterwards? You're up with Central Coast, weren't you?
Yeah, we were spewing with that because it's such a trick to get to.
Yeah, I know, man.
And not being here around more family and friends would have been fantastic, but we made do.
Where'd you go?
We made do. We went to some local pub, then we took the party to the beach, and then finished
You
up
went
in
to the
the
beach?
hotel. Yeah,
Did you?
yeah. And then we brought the club to the outside, but finished off in the hotel. Not much sleep.
Aye, brilliant.
Then back the next day.
Oh, well, I seen you at the final, the
Yeah.
MPL, and yourself for a bit worse for wear.
Finals day is always nice. It's always nice to be a part of, to go watch as a neutral. But I think we were just chatting before. It's up here get the ultimate trophy, but the real team of the year was Spirit. So.
Well, when we got to Group C, it'll be quite interesting. Obviously, with Spirit being in there, Avondale both being in the same group.
Yeah.
So it'll be cool to see how that goes. And before we move on, Chaz, how was your end of the season?
It was good, mate. It was good.
Stayed in a hostel?
Aye. I actually had to remove myself. Like I couldn't hack it, so I went and got myself a hotel. But the boys were in 8 bed dorms.
Oy.
So it was what, 22 of you or something?
Aye, 22 of us went, which is mad. Like in terms of
brilliant numbers,
looking
that,
at the kind of, we've had a good team spirit all year. I think it's got us through a fair few games, and to see 22 boys at the end of the season's mad.
How was I seen some of the costumes. What was your favourite one?
Woody turned up with like a cat leotard on with the wee ears, which was just quite
I thought
funny.
Chewbacca was decent.
Chewbacca was good.
Who was
JJ.
Chewbacca?
JJ.
Oh, okay, that was decent.
Nate dressed up as Woody from Toy Story.
Oh, I seen that in the photos.
That was decent. With Luigi, my father, that was quite good. It was good for like every time we walked anywhere, everyone would be like, "Oh, there's Luigi,"
Okay.
and he was quite good at being like, "It's me, Luigi." Like it was quite funny.
I seen one of the photos. So the photo, he's sent a photo through, and it's got the lads. They've all picked their own outfit, obviously, and one guy's wearing a leotard, and just in the corner, his boss axe just hanging out the side of the fucking leotard at the bottom.
I know. It's funny because one of the boys sent it to their missus. The missus back saying, Did he mean to have his balls out in that
Did
phone?
he have it?
Aye, he did.
Oh, they meant to have it.
Aye.
Right, okay, aye. Because that happens a lot, doesn't it?
Aye, it's
Everyone's
funny,
mad.
man.
But how was that night out when you were dressed up?
Aye, good. Mate,
Did you leave Gilligan's at all?
Aye, mate, we were all over the place. Like, but it's so relaxed in terms of getting in places. Do you know what I mean? Like, especially when you're used to Sydney, there was absolutely no chance we'd have get in anywhere in Sydney.
Nah, no chance.
But you'd walk up a group of 22 boys.
I just did 22 years a night, mate. Aye, on you go.
All the costumes on, like, no problem. Come in, sit down. Like, it was
Better
mad.
to be as far away from everyone as possible, to be honest.
Aye.
100%. And it was good for that. I think it was a good place to go because it was so relaxed. We didn't have any issues. Like, if you go to Melbourne or you go somewhere else, it's very like you can go in 3s and 4s. But we literally just turned up everywhere as a group of 20 odd boys. No, it's letting you go.
Brilliant.
It's good. How was Byron?
Brilliant.
Byron was good, mate. I went. Byron was similar to be fair, man. Obviously, Byron's a wee bit different for Cairns, but what I was saying to the boys is, see when you talk to a bounce on Sydney, like there's a wee bit of a power trip, obviously.
Aye.
Even if it's just 2s or 3s, it's just an excuse to try and not let you in. But see, Byron, when he talk to you like a
normal
just a
human
normal
being.
person, like, all right, lads, that's quite a lot of ease. Aye, there is, because we did like a Where's Wally thing.
Aye.
And then it's like, oh, it's quite a lot of ease, no worries. Look, lads, obviously, don't take the piss. Go and enjoy yourself. But if there's any madness, obviously, aye, no worries, mate.
That's it.
On you go.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, cool. Bit of respect there. But I feel like sometimes in Sydney, it's like, oh, how many drinks you had? 2? Can I ask you to try somewhere else? You're like, of course I had fucking 2 drinks.
And,
On a night out.
and that's when you're wearing normal clothes as
Aye.
well, not dressed up.
Yeah.
But I also was good. Maybe we had like 15 people. We had an Airbnb.
Aye, class.
So a nice house with a pool. Like loads of typical card games, daft drinking games,
Aye.
daft time, just kicked about. There was so Fisher, the DJ Fisher,
Yeah.
his little fritter who like follows Fisher about a wee bit, does some sets and that with him. He was playing in the Beach Hotel.
Oh, well.
Free entry on a Saturday, and the Liverpool Everton game was on. So you had that in the back scenes. Then you had little fritter playing there, and obviously just a big outdoor bit that says well, so that was class.
Aye,
It
good.
was just all good staying in the one house.
Aye, good.
Good banter, but
And Melbourne?
Melbourne was good. Melbourne was good. Probably can't talk about too much, but no, it was definitely good to sort of get away, catch up with some old teammates. Yeah, and enjoy a bit of time off.
so was that Preston Lions players?
Yes, he's going to get married at the end of next month. So I was down there for a suit fitting.
What's his name?
Matt Symes, actually a goalkeeper.
Okay.
You might know him, floated around the NPL for a while.
Who they play for in
in
the
the
NPL?
A-League. Last club I think in Sydney was Mount Druitt,
Right,
and
okay.
then took off to Melbourne. Had a couple clubs in Melbourne, and then went to Preston where we met and we became teammates. And now he's at Upfield, which is State 3, I think it is, or State 2. Yeah, a goalkeeper with experience, so he's just enjoying football now at that
good.
stage of his career. But yeah, no, it was good, really good.
Class. Well, anything else to mention, Chaz, before we crack on?
No, obviously we've not been on since the grand final that we spoke about. Apia 1-2-1. Congratulations. Good finish. See us go.
West Apia, mate.
West. You were calling West Tigers. I nearly called it West Tigers. Great finish. See Kamash's goal.
Cameron, she's a class player, man.
Yeah, very good.
Great player.
Um,
I thought Apia, like, I won't, again, I don't want to harp on too much about MPL, but Apia obviously going to be in the championship, so worth mentioning. I thought it looked pretty comfortable.
that was comfortable.
They had that wee moment, maybe Rockdale had that, because even the goal came out against the run of play. It was a great goal for Rockdale to be can't not mention it. But I thought overall, I hit the post twice, maybe.
Yeah, in the first half.
And I
What a
thought
save,
second
by the
half,
way, Soros, one of them.
aye, brilliant save, aye. But I think the second half, I don't think Rockdale really created anything in the second half.
Nah.
Not that I can
but
think of.
it's like you can't sleep on. You got Euro.
No,
so
of course not.
He's to be interesting to see what happens next year with them. But having him in the team, you're in the game at any point.
Yeah.
because you can pull goals out of nothing. So
Was Euro like there was a rumour that Rockdale that Euro was linked with Preston Lions for the championship, but I'm assuming it's not happening considering they're in Macedonia and he's just done a full thing with Bankstown City. But I don't know if you heard anything of that.
yeah, no, not really. Nothing with Preston. We tried to get him over when I actually went originally,
Oh,
and
did
then
you?
even when I stepped into the coaching ranks last season before, Preston tried to get him over, but no, he's off to Bankstown.
I see that.
Off to Bankstown.
Hey, to be
Rashudo
fair,
there,
Bankstown
and there's a
City,
few
decent
more going.
announcement.
Yeah, they've done it well, man.
Yeah, it's cool.
Aye,
I think
class.
it's
That's
good
good.
to see. It's good to see players like that sort of stuff because you only see that at the top stuff.
Yeah,
you
of
know.
course.
So for a bit of ego. I
Yeah, it's
guess.
interesting
It's
as
right,
well.
mate. It
though.
makes it feel more professional. Same way, I think that's a
like
good chance for there's so many creators in football now. Like you can look at Jockey Football and Jude and all.
Yeah.
There's loads of people doing good stuff. You can, like we spoke about this before, the clubs could get it on board, especially for a championship, and you
Yeah.
can make like players feel
Aye.
like they're part of something fucking
100%.
proper, man.
It's promotion. Like you're promoting the game now.
Yeah.
So those details matter,
Aye, definitely.
especially with social media. So
Also, a little shout out to Melbourne City. And they get promoted. Penalty shootout. Keepers, they have 3 pens in a row.
Nah, that's right. I seen that.
Yeah.
To get them promoted, which is classed in NPL 1. Heidelberg obviously won their grand final against Dandenong City 2-1. And Prospect.
Aye, some scenes at the Victoria.
Aye, Victoria looks
10,000 or something like 9,000.
Yeah.
Mad.
Different down there.
Yeah.
It's
fantastic. Why is it so different? Like what? Because it's not like you go to Melbourne and we love football more than you. How did they manage to get so many people to the games?
They're good at the promotion side of it, like being involved in Preston. I think Preston's the benchmark
of course,
of
exactly.
the NPL. So seeing what they do on the inside and how they get the word out and how they engage with the community, it's next level, man. So they play Friday nights, right? So to be having 3,000 up to 8,000 every week a home game on a Friday night is fantastic. Where you would get that, you match it with the A-League. The A-League don't even struggle to do that.
100%, mate.
So they just promote culture. And people buy into that, and Melbourne love their sports. You know, AFL's huge. They get around the Melbourne Storm, Victory in City. I think it's just different in Melbourne. What it is, just it's different when it comes to sports. All big sporting events.
I think even when over there, you do notice that sports. I know, obviously, again, everyone loves sports here, but it's a thing I've mentioned in the past. I feel like in Sydney, everyone you speak to loves sports, plays sports, coaches sports, does something, but no one fucking goes to games.
Yeah.
NRL included, AFL included. Like you watch it, obviously some games are full, like State of Origin, etc., Chalker and grand finals. But for the most part, if I turn on the TV and there's a game on live, stadiums are fucking half full.
Yeah.
It's mental when you go down to Melbourne. It feels like, you know, if you turn up on a Saturday or a Friday night, it must be sport about. Yeah. Everyone's got the scarves on. It's like, pubs are thriving, right. But it feels a bit more like Europe does.
No, definitely.
That's just a weird disconnect. It's only fucking the next day across. Just feels like a weird disconnect. I don't know why. Well, hopefully the championship can have that mix, because I don't think there's anyone in Sydney who doesn't want that to happen.
No, definitely.
I think this is a chance to do it. And he's mentioned culture. That's the reason we do this podcast, is pretty much, and we actually did a wee piece for Joe Kay's new football magazine. And by the way, if you're listening, Joe Kay Football's doing in my opinion, a fucking great idea. So he's bringing back the old football magazines. Yeah. And he's doing what's called, I think it's called Soccer. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be about Australian football and stuff like that. So he's doing pieces on people involved in the game. Definitely recommend you get involved with that if you see it on social media. I'm assuming it'll be a hard copy and a digital copy. Aye. So we done a piece on it about the culture part, because coming from Glasgow, like football culture for us was like that's just by no choice of our own. You're just born into. Yeah. You need to love football, and your whole life's football. It's often people talk about if Celtic lose or if Rangers, your whole week's ruined. Yeah. And people in work are arguing with their best mates and blah blah blah. And it's obviously it happens all across Europe. And when you come to Australia, when there is so many European cultures, to not have that, it's like, what's going on here, man? It just becomes soulless without it. It's like you're stamped out. Yeah. Again, championship, we feel, is the chance to... Right, obviously, when I say this, people say, but you need to remember, you don't want madness. Like, I'm not saying start fucking riots. Yeah. I'm saying, like, have the passion. Like, there should be... The Macedonian flags are getting waved. The Greek flags can get waved. The 100%. Serbian ones, the Croatian ones. It's all about.
That's what it is. It's a culture and community. That's what people look for, I think, in everything. It's like a sense of belonging and togetherness.
Yeah, well, that's what's lost, right? I think that's where we've gone wrong so much in Australian football. We removed that culture.
100%.
We tried to remove the nationalities and make it all sort of one even playing field and take that side of it out. And I think they've realised that football's nothing without the culture. Because that's what gives people a sense of connection, right? 100%. So people are proud to represent their country through a club.
Yeah, exactly, mate. And I think
that's what people turn out to watch.
That is what is the missing piece, I suppose, because if you go to look at A-League, like say Bulls or Western United, like, or maybe not Western United anymore, but they're very much young clubs. Yeah. So if you haven't grew up with a club and been steeped in it, or you're from that area, again, let's go back to from Glasgow. We're born in Glasgow, we're from Glasgow. My dad's from Parkhead where Celtic play. So to him, that is his passion. It's deep rooted in him. It feels part of the family. Sure, all of a sudden, there's a new Western Sydney Wanderers team. They've been about for 7 years, 8 years, however long it is. Of course, you can still be passionate about it, you support them, but completely different from being like, here's a team, they are Croatian, they are Italian. Yeah. So I'm Italian, you instantly like, fuck.
Yeah,
feels at home. Feels at home.
It's just another element to add.
Yeah. It's superb, man. Well, look, I really hope it's promoted in the right way, and I think club again, you mentioned it already with social media, I think clubs do need to lean on that and promote it, but in the right way. Yeah. Without causing aggro, but it shouldn't take away from the passion. And I say hatred, and I mean that loosely, but Like, you want to hate the other team for 90 minutes.
After 90 minutes, 100%.
Right, hate them for 90 minutes. Don't want to lose a game. Game's finished. Shake hands. Have a beer together. Brilliant. But I think the culture makes a show unique. So I hope we see this in the Championship.
I agree. Last thing about the NPL is obviously prospect getting promoted. Jacob Peterson scored, 18 years old.
That's right.
What a goal he scored. Did you see his?
What a moment. Yeah.
He's cut in off the left and put it in the top bin.
Man, unbelievable. To see Bonnyrigg getting relegated.
It's mad.
Yeah.
It's mad,
Insane.
especially with
Was a
the
powerhouse
investment
club,
that they've obviously put in at the window.
Aye.
And it looked like it was working. Like, it looked like it was on the right trajectory towards the end of the season, that they
Yeah.
would have came through the.
I finished a point off of getting out altogether.
And then even the first leg, they win away from home, and you think, brilliant, take that back home on the grass, like, we'll get a good result. And it just didn't
Oh, mate,
work,
if
man.
honestly, from a see you on a betting that game, Bonnyrigg 2-1 up at their home patch with the players they had on the field, to lose that 3-1 at home.
It's mad.
Yeah, a lot seems to be going wrong within the club.
It's a shame,
Once were a powerhouse.
Yeah.
Powerhouse.
What year were they, like, top 2, top 3
From
teams?
memory, it would have
2015,
been
16?
10 years, because I remember when Eunice was playing and they had
Yeah.
Bomber Brown was the coach,
Yep.
Cliffy was the assistant, and they just had a run of either minor premierships or grand final wins, and they were always there. Ray Miller, Wiz, there.
Yeah, he's a good player, Wiz.
They're always at the top. You know, there was a couple of times where I was, sort of on my way there as well. So, just to see them from where I was sort of coming up in that sort of NPL era, to see them now where they are, that's not good for us. That's not good for Australian
it's
football.
not.
No,
It was-
because we talk about culture.
Yeah.
Bonnyrigg is one.
Oh, aye, brilliant.
That was so strong in their culture.
Yeah.
So
Oh, who's the other Serbian clubs who are in the top division? Is there any in Melbourne? There's no Serbian clubs in the top division.
Melbourne Knights, I think,
Croatian?
just got
They're Croatian?
relegation.
Yeah, they are Croatian.
Croatian relegated. Serbian, I'm not sure. I can't remember.
Nah,
In the top divisions, I can't even think.
don't think there's any, because we had who was Coley was talking about them. I don't think he said any Serbian. It was all kind of Italian, with Macedonian, with Croatian.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame, man. And then you look at Parramatta down there as well, Fraser Park. This
Fraser
is
Park.
obviously, and then Melbourne Knights going down as well.
Yeah.
Massive clubs,
Yeah.
man. And then
Yeah.
it's hard to get back out. Like you see with Parramatta, they've been in there for so long.
Yeah, it's hard.
Crazy, man. Well, look, again, for the sake of football, you want to see the big clubs involved, but look, at the end of the day, if it's not managed correctly, you don't deserve to be there.
No, that's right.
Talking of culture, a big shout out to our new sponsors.
Oh, belter.
Absolute belter. So Vlaki boys, man.
It's the Vlaki boys in Marrickville.
In Marrickville, yep. So they've come on board for the championship,
Fantastic.
which is class. So they're going to put together a champagne pack. So you can go into, we're obviously in the process of seeing what's involved in the champagne pack, but you'll be able to go into the store and pick yourself up a champagne pack.
And obviously, if you love yourself Vlaki, it's a place to go. But I was talking to a few boys at Spirit actually, and they said the same. They said, "Oh, that's what I get when I get stuff. I always go to the Vlaki boys. Stuff's good."
Yeah.
Aye, but brilliant to have them on board. Ran by two guys who are big in football and NPL as well, involved with Blacktown, Spartans, and St George.
St George, yeah.
So big football fans, and this is what this podcast's all about: is getting people, supporting people in the game, especially around the NPL space. Australian Championship space, and supporting their businesses as well. So brilliant to have Savlaki boys on board. As we go through the Championship, you'll hear more about them, but as soon as that champagne pack is ready to go, we'll give you an announcement and you can go in and get yourself a wee pack. JK, watch the games right before the Olympic South Melbourne game.
That's it.
Beautiful.
I think every time you said Savlaki, you'd look me dead in the ie. You're trying to yeah.
I'm just trying to get you to go, man. You're going to be the first buyer of a champagne pack.
Alright, okay, well, do you want to get stuck into the Group C? Yeah, so obviously Group C, a bit random not to start at Group A, but with having Jordy here, been involved in Preston, thought it made sense. And then we have Avondale winning the league and Spirit winning the league, and obviously myself here, it probably makes sense to start there. So Chaz, do you want to sort of run this segment and we can see where we...
So we'll just go with the order it's here. So we'll start with Spirit.
Yep.
How is the kind of feel about the club looking forward towards the championship?
I think everyone's... Look, I think anyone who's listening, who's involved in space, has heard David Perkovic has obviously stepped down the gaffer. Made his announcement on social media last week, which is big. Like, there's no hiding around the fact that the guy's been there for 9 years. I mean, so there's no hiding around the fact that it's big, and I think that a lot of the success at Spirit's been down to the way he's managed the team and how he's helped around the scenes from the ground all the way up over the last 9 years. So, like, it's big. It was a bit of a shock to a lot of the players, a lot of people within the club. But But on the flip side, obviously spending 3 days with the boys after 13 pints, they start to get a wee bit emotional and tell you how they feel. Do you know what I mean? No, but I think everyone's excited. Generally, it's just like, it feels a wee bit like a bonus. I mean, at the end of the day, Avondale, who's in the group, and Preston's in the group, knew they were in this competition. We had no idea until 3 weeks before the end of the season. So from a club perspective, it's a wee bit of rushing around to try and get things in order. I think it's known that Spirit don't have a huge budget, so it's a big commitment for the club. So fair play to the club for even getting off the ground and getting it going and committing to it. Especially Frank Markey, who's pushed it hard, who's run the club. But I think the players are excited. I think players are like, which it should be about, just enjoy the experience. I think football sometimes a lot of pressure. We try to do well, and I think with the Spirit boys, they've had a lot of pressure on them because they had this big run this year to win the league, and it was always, they're going to fall away. Yeah. And then in the last 7 to 8 games, it was like, we need to make sure we prove everyone wrong here, because everyone was waiting for us to fail here. Not because they wanted to do it, it was an expectation. And to pull that off, the pressure's off a little bit. I think the boys are looking forward to just going there and having that, like, playing football, no pressure. Look, again, like I said, the only I wouldn't say upside, that's probably the wrong word, but the Perco not being there, the positive is they've retained pretty much everybody who's there, minus a couple. Jordy Perez won't be involved, Brady Smith won't be involved, but it's not like we've brought in 13 new players and we have to do a new style of play and the boys aren't fit enough and it's like a whole pre-season. It's almost just like, lads, you know what to do, play the way we've played all season. These are fit enough. We'll get the dust off at the end of the season and get them prepared again. But we haven't made a ton of new signings, made a few, which we'll go into a second. But I think from Spirit, it's just a case of go and enjoy it. Nobody's on the outside going Spirit favourites to win the comp. But I think since I've been there, that's always been our strength, is when we've been underdogs. They've threw up a few surprises. So I think having that underdog tag will work in our favour, having less pressure work in our favour. Look, we're preparing very differently from a lot of the bigger clubs. I'm hearing some clubs training 4 or 5 times. We're only training twice. We've got to travel. Obviously makes it a third commitment, then a game. Some 4 days is a big commitment for lads who are on a low budget club, and they've got families and all this. It's not a full-time environment. Expecting more than that, I think, is tricky for them. But I think it's a 6 to 8 week comp. Say 8 weeks. It's thinking the whole club's buzzing for it, and it'll be, I don't know if we're playing at Christie Park yet. I've not been confirmed with that. I've heard a few murmurs that is going to be the case, but I've also heard rumours that the championship will want to get played on grass. I don't know how true, and has you heard anything?
No, there's some certain. They're trying to put in some certain stipulations, and I guess to meet the criteria. But apart from that, I haven't heard too much.
No, I hope it is at Christie Park for Spirit's sake. I think if Spirit are going to look, I wouldn't be, obviously internally, I back the boys 100%. We've showed time and time again that we can upset teams. So I hope at Christie Park. We've only lost 1 game at Christie Park the whole year in 90 minutes. Obviously Rockdale beat us in extra time, but Marconi beat us 2-1 at Christie Park the whole season. So it's definitely a strength. To lose that would be a bit of sickener. But all around the club, mate, excitement, not a lot of pressure. I don't think the boys are too buzzing with training tomorrow night, 40 hours after the end of the season. But it's a short turnaround, mate. Get to travel, which is always fun with the boys. I mean, and like Preston Lions away, which I think every single team in the championship would love to have. 100%. Avondale, who just won the league, to go top of MPL on both states. Yep. Big draw card. Then the Canberra, Croatia, a bit of a shorter trip. So look, mate, there's not too much else I can really say. I think David Perkovic leaving is massive for the club. But from speaking to the boys, they're well set up. Luca Falcone, who's the assistant coach last year, and Nick Parecchia, who's assistant coach, they're taking over. Luca's worked with Perco for, 6-7 years. Knows him very, very well. Obviously, I'm still on board. So there's a fair bit of continuity within the club. Yeah. We have signed 4 or 5 new players.
Who have you signed?
Aidan Kyra. This is for the championship. Yeah. Aidan Kyra from Blacktown Spartans. So we've signed good players. We've signed a lot of boys who I think want to prove that they can play at a higher level in the right environment. Kai Denton from Northern Tigers, top goal scorer, 2 or 3 years in MPL 2. Yep. Definitely deserves a crack. Who else have we signed off the top of my head here? There's a couple I'm not actually going to say because I don't know if it's been done. It must be done actually.
It needs to be done.
Let me pull up the actual the squad just so I get it right.
Aiden's a good signing. We tried to get him midway. I tried to get him midway. Yeah, he was very valuable, particularly for our league.
Well,
Yeah.
Boy could finish.
You rate him, don't you,
Yeah,
Chaz?
he's good.
Big boy can finish both feet.
Do you know what I was when he played against us? He was anywhere but centre forward,
Yeah,
just because of how the team played. He
Yeah.
was having to drop into areas, and I was delighted because obviously having played against him for a good few years,
Yeah.
you know what he's capable of.
that's right. So the further away from
For
goal,
me, I was
the
buzzing,
better it
man.
is,
He's
yeah,
picking
for
up in the halfway
defensively.
line out wide. I'm like, you stay there.
Yeah,
But when he's in front of goal, he's very good.
no, he gave us problems.
Aye. Oh, like I think Kubu leaving us to go and play at Eastern Northern, but he scored 3 in 3 games or something like that. He's absolutely flying, he's a weapon. But that was massive for us.
Yeah,
He was arguably one of the players of the year in the whole comp. To lose him to our top goal scorer was massive. So we brought in Kai Denton and Aidan Kyra in that centre forward role. Brought in Ethan De Bono for Newcastle Jets. Any feedback on him? No.
Good. Jets are good, but
Yeah, they were for me. They were the best youth league team I had seen over the years.
Yeah, okay.
When we went down to them this year, they were far above. We won that game, but yeah, they were really, really impressive. Bit different when we versed them the second time round. Obviously, there was end of the season, and they had lots of players sort of weren't playing that game for whatever reason. I think they joined the start of pre-season, and some cup games coming up, so they lost some of their probably better players.
yeah.
But they were, I was really impressed.
I've
man.
said that as well. Like, I thought they were absolutely brilliant, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I haven't seen Ethan play. Obviously, I've not been. There's not a lot of footage on MPL2, but for all feedback, he's a right good player. So
wide player.
he's an attacking midfield winger. I can play
Yeah.
10 wide. Midfield apart outside of that. Oh, Isaac Cunningham, who again a young player for Rydamere, who's been asked a bit of a stint in Portugal,
Yeah.
a bit of a stint in I think
Isaac's
Italy as well. You obviously played with him at Rydamere. 6'1", technical player.
He's a wee shit, but he got me sent off this year.
That's right, so he did that.
That
Aye.
is good.
He's a boy who's basically reached out and wanted an opportunity, which I think Spirit have done very well over the years, is giving young boys opportunity. Kyle Shaw is probably the one that stands out the most, who signed for Sydney FC last year. But I think these are the competitions these boys go, do you know what, give me a chance, show me what I can do.
Yeah.
And then we've Caleb Jackson-Brown, who's centre midfielder for Mountain Druitt, who, in my opinion, wasn't a player who deserved to be in a relegation battling team. He's a standout energy engine, and I think going to play against a lot of experienced midfielders in this competition, you're going to need legs.
Yep.
Maybe games maybe we don't have as much of the ball. I don't know how the opposition are going to shape up, but you need legs in there. We lost Frankie, the American centre midfielder, who is that similar player, whose engine does like 13-14k a game. I think Caleb Jackson-Brown fits that mould pretty well. And then lastly, we signed Aidan Mostafi. He's been training with us for quite a while, to be fair, but he was playing in Germany. Aussie boy, but playing in Germany. Left back or left wing back. He's good. He's a good player. With Jordy Perez
Big
not
and
been...
strong, man.
Have you played with him?
I've seen him at Jonah.
Oh, okay, aye. Big, strong, technical player.
Yeah.
Athletic. Good guy, as I said, he's been training with us for a while, so it's not a big transition for him coming in. And with Jordy Perez not been involved, it's a nice fit for him in there. So, look, I think, as I said, everyone's buzzing for it. It's a complete bonus competition for us. I wouldn't write us off by any means. I think I would not write off Spirit being involved in that.
Beyond the group stages,
beyond the group stages at all. We've proven it. We've proven everyone wrong, and I think that's going to work in our favour. The question mark's always going to remain on, how they're going to go without Perko. But I think the boys are well drilled enough and good enough to upset a few teams.
Class. We'll jump on to Avondale. Don't have a huge amount of information. I actually reached out to Thomas Manish yesterday.
Yep.
But I've not heard back from him. So I just did a wee bit of research this morning. They've obviously lost their coach.
Yep.
Zoran Markowski
Which was
resigned.
interesting because when we spoke to Thomas, he was buzzing off him.
Buzzing off of mine.
Don't know what happened there.
I think that, see, when you obviously achieve things at clubs, sometimes it's like the right time.
Yeah.
That's what Perko was saying.
That's it, because you don't know, obviously we don't know what's going on in the background, maybe there's some changes, whatever, but it's just won the league. Like, it's a good time to be like, let someone else go in and take over.
From what I gathered was, I think he was wanting to have a bit of a holiday next season.
Right, okay.
With the family, he's dedicated a lot of time to Avondale, obviously, which is why they were where they were. And I think there was a bit of backlash between, I suppose, him and the board, and I think they were pretty quick, smart, or very reactive, I should say, in making a decision. And then it just, probably didn't end on the greatest terms, from what I've been told, anyway. So
That's a shame,
that's just thrown things a little bit
But it's tricky, and that's that dynamic of part-time football as well, though, because people have got lives outside of it.
100%.
And it's tricky, man. It's like
They demand so much from coaches, and even as a coach now, you demand so much from players, but you think they've got to work, family, like it's sometimes the expectations are not realistic.
I know, especially when you're usually having the MPL season, and then you go, right, you've got 3 or 4 months, recharge. Obviously, coaches are doing recruitment, etc. as well, but you've still got no training nights, no games to travel to not have that.
Yeah.
Like getting 2 weeks off, maybe a week and a half off, and then being like, right, so from a family perspective, especially older players and coaches who've got families, to turn around to your partner and be like, I'm still not here.
Yeah.
I'm actually travelling as well now.
It's hard, man.
It's tricky.
That's what I was looking at, obviously, next year, what I'm going to do. And it's like, every time I have a conversation, I say, I'm not going to commit to every weekend. I'm not going to commit to every game. I say, I've just had the conversation with Emma about, I'm not going to play, we're going to have a bit more time. And then to turn around and be like, by the way,
I'm back.
I'm still back out every Saturday night, man. But you can't do it. It's tough. It's hard, man.
Aye, well, like, that's what it is. So Avondale new gaffer, is it Germano, is that his name?
Jonathan Germano, aye. Jonathan,
your man.
Yeah,
Jonathan Germano.
But supposedly he was a former player of the club. He's been involved in the background with coaching and stuff as well for a while.
Yep.
And they've also got Juban Palanic as director of football.
Right.
So he's currently doing his AFC Pro licence.
Yep.
So he's going to be looking over the whole thing, I believe. And they've made a lot of new signings, including Fornaroli.
Oh, the big one. Obviously, that's probably the talk of the
massive.
Talk of the town at the moment.
Huge.
Massive.
Huge
So
for the league.
Fornaroli is obviously seven times capped by Australia. So it shows that they're taking the competition pretty seriously. Man.
There's a lot going to be a lot of A-League, ex-A-League, ex-pros involved in the comp. I think most teams involved are going to have somebody who's played professionally at some point or some level.
Definitely.
I know Appia, obviously, with the West Highlands connection, will probably have a few. They had Monge, obviously, who's already in there. Flotman, who's in there.
And then I believe they signed some boys from Western United.
Oh, that's the rumour. Again, we don't know how concrete that is, but that's what We've heard they've signed some boys for there, but I don't know how much truth is to that. And then I'm sure Heidelberg and etc. They're all going to have players from the league, but the window's closed now, so no one can sign anyone else.
So whatever's in now's in.
Aye, that's it. Whoever's in, and I believe Van der Sag went to Marconi as well.
Yeah, you said that.
So aye, look, that's good. But that's what you want. You want these players in the competition. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, it needs to. Yeah, they need to sort of bring the quality up a little bit, and sometimes you're gonna have to lean on players that have been there, done that.
Aye,
and it's interesting because you look at like the Melbourne competition is probably the strongest based on obviously Australia Cup runs etc. this year. So they finished top of that group, and they've went and obviously spent a bit of money to strengthen. Yeah. So it's exciting, like looking at the potential standard of quality of football.
Yeah, it's fantastic to see the NPL clubs take it to the A-League boys.
Oh, who do you think? Really who do you? Oh, you've played in both. Do you think Victoria League's better?
It's a question I get asked a lot. I think overall, the Victorian Premier League as a whole is just tips. I think Sydney. Yep. Yeah, I think here we have some good, obviously the stronger clubs, and there seems to be a little bit of a disconnect between the top and the bottom, whereas Melbourne, that gap is not as big, I feel, from top to bottom. Yeah. Because we just spoke about Melbourne Knights getting relegated. That's a huge club. Yeah. A huge club. And they didn't take their season very lightly at all. They recruited quite heavily, so the quality just wasn't enough, but I think they would still do reasonably well in New South Wales. I think that's probably the best way to gauge it. Yeah, is how they would do here, and I think they would. Might not be the top, but I think they'd be not at the bottom.
I'm interested to see how we go against Avondale. Obviously, probably not a fair. It's not the same squads it was during the season, but it'll be interesting to see how even like Marconi and Appia. Probably Appia's the one I'm looking at.
Because Appia played Avondale, didn't they? In the
was it 2-1?
3-1. 3-1 to Avondale.
Aye.
Away from home. Penalty, I think, in that game as well.
Yeah. Oh, Appia missed a pen.
Yeah.
Avondale, I'm sure.
Avondale.
Oh, did they? Aye. Yeah. Aye, it'll be interesting to see how they goes there. But it's obviously that conversation. I think for me, when you look at it, it's always the fans. It makes it like if I've done a Victoria highlight thing, I'm like, look at the crowd. Aye. It just makes it feel better straight away. I really hope this championship. Oh, fucking SBS! Didn't you mention it?
Aye.
What the fucking announcement that is?
Yeah, fantastic.
Superb, man. I know. Fair play to people at the Australian Championship for getting that over the line. 100%. Everyone's big prayer was like, make it free to air, make it free to air. So to have it on SBS, and obviously SBS on demand, superb, man.
It's brilliant.
Because this is the one chance you need to get it in front of everybody. Leave no excuse.
Yeah, that's
why people can't watch it.
Aye.
Brilliant.
Because it's It's got the potential to be big, this championship, in terms of the buzz about it just now.
I think if everyone keeps
That's
this
what we're
positive,
hoping. Yeah.
Yeah.
there's going to be things that are shit. Let's be honest. It's the first time you do
100%.
anything anywhere, it's shit.
Shit.
But I think if we can keep trying to find the positive, it was shite, but like that was good. Fair play. Like SBS is massive.
Aye,
Yeah.
massive.
Like that has to be celebrated. If we're going to complain when things go wrong, we need to fucking go over the top hype when things go right as well. Avondale, I know I need to mention Zach Janche. They've signed him. He played with Spirit 3 years ago, and I mentioned him a few times in the podcast. Like old school, bit of a wild card winger. You have no idea what he's going to do with the ball. He just gets the ball, just tries to run 3 or 4 players. And honestly, he's one of those guys that runs into 5 players and just comes out with it. Young boy, mad, one of the maddest players I've ever seen. And he's a great character as well. But to see him involved with Avondale, I think honestly he's a young boy that hopefully gets some game time, because he's not a player you'd want to defend against, especially if he's coming off the bench.
Aye.
He's an old school direct winger. I don't know too much about the other Avondale players who've signed. But I think anyone who's, as we watch the championship, I'm sure a lot of the best players will quickly be caught up with. Anyone from Avondale that you know of, you've been involved with, played with? No? No? Do you know anyone else? No? Well, look, they're going to be one of the favourites to win it, but after the season they've just had, but depends on the signings.
100%. And Preston, mate, so you'll obviously be better placed than we are to talk about Preston. They finished 5th. Decent record, obviously, for their first season back in NPL 1 Victoria. It was a good start. How do you think Neil got on?
I think with Preston, there's an element of expectation. I know it was their first season back in the top flight, and took many years to get back there. But there was an element of expectation that they were to win the league again.
For this year?
Yeah.
Oh, is it right?
Yeah, and I think that's what separates them from everyone else, is they weren't happy with how they finished.
Yeah.
I guess when you look at it as holistically, they can be content, but never truly happy. So they're obviously taking this Australian Championship very, very seriously. They're actually in Macedonia at the moment on a little post-season, pre-season.
Have they got games there, I take it? Or is it just training?
Yeah, they're training and they're playing.
They're playing this FK Varda, who are currently first in the Macedonian division.
Oh, wow.
On Wednesday night.
Yeah, so they're playing, and then they're back to prepare for that, and then they're well placed. They've recruited a couple of players. I couldn't tell you the names off the top of the head. I found them the other night, but I just don't remember them. So they're looking to push, and they'll want to win it again. They'll want to win it.
Yeah,
not again, but for the first time, they'll want to win.
Brilliant.
I think that's a good point, because I think a lot of the clubs were thinking to win the first ever Australian Championship will be a big thing, a big
Aye.
bit of a marker down.
100%.
First name on the trophy.
Yeah.
Aye, it's pretty cool to be fair. Mate, Preston Lions, I think them being in the tournament alone, I think everyone's buzzing because of the fans.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Like, superb.
Definitely.
They're doing a fantastic job. Like when you talk about NPL football, I think Preston Lions is in everyone's conversation.
Aye.
So that shows they're doing something right. Real
How was your
benchmark.
time there?
I thoroughly enjoyed it. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I got to play one season there, which was, I guess, selfishly was good for me because I was able to complete the season. But in terms of like my quality, probably didn't live up to my expectation or the club's expectation. But then jumped on the coaching staff the year after, and we got promoted. So that was a nice little start to my coaching journey, I suppose.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd love to go back. I'm going to go back and watch a game in Melbourne with the family. They were really good to me as well. So
brilliant.
thoroughly loved my time. Couldn't speak anything highly of the club.
Class.
Brilliant.
And we know obviously Romero's there.
Yes, we do.
Anyone else who stands out? I was on Instagram yesterday and it was saying 2 boys. I can't remember their name. I have to go back on Instagram. But 2 Golden Boot winners for an award ceremony.
Right.
So I don't know if they did the same amount of goals at the end of the year. Do you know who it was?
Nah. Golden Boot? Nah.
No
idea.
Unless it was the 20s or something like that. There was a big post about 2 boys.
Oh, good. No, I have no idea.
Yeah, this is why pretty much what we're doing right now, not having a fucking clue. This is what happened when we started the NPL podcast, the New South Wales one.
100%.
So I'm looking forward to getting to know these teams. I think, looking at Preston and Avondale, I actually think on paper Avondale would be, like, because of the way the league's filled, but I think Preston's, in my head, would be favourites to win that group. And the bookies' favourites. I think Preston, like, going to Macedonia for 2 weeks. That's a proper
They're
pre-season.
taking it serious.
Yeah.
Taking it very seriously.
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, their intention is to win.
Aye.
There's no such
Although,
thing as second.
Bruno, Could be a different one for Avondale.
Definitely.
Aye.
I think it's just exciting looking at how they are approaching it. Do you know what I mean? With signings like Fornaroli, with a pre-season, like let's go away and work towards this. Like it shows you that the level of commitment that the clubs are actually taking this with. Like it's really fucking exciting.
It's just the disparity between the clubs and that group is mental.
Yeah,
We're going to Canberra, Croatia in a second. But like I've said, Spirit obviously unexpectedly in it, low budget, going to have to minimise commitment from the players due to try to earn a living outside of football. Whereas Preston players are able to take 2 weeks off,
Flight Macedonia
and play a comp. Avondale are signing fucking Bruno. But I mean that makes it exciting though, because it's got those unexpected, like fuck, Preston should win here, but will they? Like fuck, it's going to be very interesting. And then Canberra, Croatia, we don't know a ton about these teams because again it's not wildly publicised, all these different teams. But Chaz has got a wee bit of insight for us.
So I spoke to someone this morning who's based in Canberra, and the rumours down there is that Canberra, Croatia aren't taking it overly seriously. So their best attack.
I went fancy dressing for the first game.
Aye, where's Wally? So they are TJ, who was their best attacking player this year,
Wolves,
top goal scorer in the league. Not top goal scorer, that's a lie. The top goal contributions, goals and assists.
Oh, right, okay.
He signed at Wolves, and his reason for signing was that the lack of professionalism.
Oh, is that right?
This is what.
Was it? Okay, that was what you heard.
The rumour is that their lack of professionalism and how they are looking towards it didn't live up to how he was looking towards it.
Right, okay.
And that's why he's went back to Wollongong Wolves. They've not approached anyone to try and sign them. I've been told there's a lot of younger players in the Canberra comp that are good players, but they didn't approach anyone. They only signed players who reached out to them. Like they weren't kind of putting the time and effort into trying to get players on board. So they only spoke to players that came and approached the club to sign. So I've signed a couple of players from Tigers. Shannon Whitehead and Woody are the two that I was told are the probably better of the players I've signed, but still they're not top level.
How did they go? Do you know much? Did they win the league comfortably?
They won the league, yes, but they didn't win
the league. But do you know if they smashed it or?
I think it was relatively comfortable in the end. It was close for a period, but maybe 4 or 5 points.
Right, okay.
So it was comfortable enough, but they didn't win the grand final.
Right.
I think
Who won it?
Kuma Tigers, I think, won it at the weekend.
Right, okay.
And something else. They are not. Supposedly they're trying to do what to pay their players for the championship.
Yeah, like the financial stuff's tough though, man. Like I can't comment too much on it, obviously, but every club's going to be very different.
Of course.
Like it's a fucking big commitment for clubs. Again, Preston are probably the one who's really unique because they've got gate money.
Yeah,
you're getting 8,000 to 10,000 people come to games, so you can fly to Macedonia. Like, you got a fair play, you can justify that. Yeah. But other clubs, when we see this in the NPL, New South Wales, other clubs try to do the big swinging dick and spend money that they don't really have, like realistically. Not that they're going broke, but it's like the money shouldn't be getting spent on what it's getting spent on.
Yeah.
But like a Canberra, Croatia, a Spirit, there's a lot of clubs in probably in the same boat through different groups who'd like this championship is an amazing opportunity, but at the same time you can't just go like fuck it, let's go and spend a fortune.
No, definitely.
So you could end up ruining the club.
I know,
so if you can't, and I'm not saying you shouldn't be paying the players, that's not what I'm suggesting. Everyone should be paid for their time, but what I mean it's a difficult one because
how much can you actually give?
How much can you give? Like if it's not there, the money's not there, and the money's not there. But you're in the competition and you don't want to pull out because it's a good prestige for the club. So what the fuck do you do?
Yeah.
There has to be some sort of compromise somewhere. I'm not definitely shouldn't. Every player should be getting paid. That's 110%.
Yeah, I think that's it. So I think as a result of that, a few of the senior players aren't playing in the competition.
Well, again, they'll have families. They'll have
they need to
justify.
Understandable, yeah.
So I'm saying that it's a conversation that needs out of context because every club and every player is going to have their own little story to it. Like if it's fucking 10 weeks of commitment, travelling. You're only going to pay me? Oh, what fucking chance have I got? And the club like, well, we want to keep you, but we can't pay you. Like, what do you want us to do? So
well, that was the problem, right? When they started to try and build this competition, was there was going to be that element of financials that was going to be tough, and then bringing in because they didn't make the competition with all those clubs.
Yeah.
They've had to then supplement it with winners around, right? And those clubs who didn't want to be in there are now finding themselves in there.
Surprise!
And the level is like between the top and the bottom.
Yeah, it's going to be huge.
Different. Like when you look at Preston, who can do that.
Yeah.
And you're talking about Spirit now. No coach, trying Canberra again. Like, what do you expect?
I know.
Like, what are you going to expect?
I think it's like fair play to the FFA because like if they didn't get it going, it might
But they
have
had to
been
do
dead.
something.
I had to do something. I had to get it going somehow. So it was a happy medium because, to be fair to them, they're paying for travel.
Yeah.
They're doing as much to offset the cost as possible. So fair play to them in that regard. But moving forward from next year, obviously, I'm assuming there's going to have to be a bigger financial commitment for clubs.
But do you not think though, right? Do you not think the FA should be doing this? Like, so you look at the A-League, right? That's no longer FA.
Yeah.
They should be spending their money at the top end of the game. Like, they should be investing money to try and
100%,
help the
yeah.
game grow.
I don't know enough about the financial side of things to know, like, again, is the money there for it? Maybe it is there. I don't know. Is the money, are they thinking, well, the A-League's more important and the money they do have has to, because the A-League's, I wouldn't say it's on its arse, but it's not exactly been thriving, is it?
I know, but see when something's not working,
Yeah.
there's time for something else.
Oh, look, I'd love a championship to be number one, man. Fucking
And
brilliant.
I think, and I could be completely wrong here, right? I think that the championship will get bigger crowds than the A-League.
100%.
That's what I think.
Yeah, because
I'm
it's
saying,
more community.
This is what we should be trying to grow, trying to invest money in this new thing that's exciting, that brings back culture. Spend your money there and make the first one fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Because if it is amazing, next year's only going to get better.
100%.
And then it's going to go bam, bam, bam. And then football might get to or get close to where it could, because there's so much potential.
Yeah.
But the A-League's, as you say, it's dying a death. Like, it's shit.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's not certainly not what it used to be. So,
Yes.
and I think everyone here, every football supporter is crying out for promotion, relegation at some stage
Yeah,
in order
100%,
to
man.
improve the A-League.
Aye,
because
of course, aye.
it'll benefit the A-League.
100% it will.
Yeah, I don't think,
eventually.
I think that's what we need to be cautious of, is not making it us v them. Like,
Yeah,
like
they work
this
together.
shows about MPL. Obviously, we want to promote the local part-time clubs and that cultural thing. That's what this whole thing's about. But at the same time, the A-League's been about now for a long enough time. They've got infrastructures in place, etc. I think having the problem with football is, and Claudio Fabiano mentioned this when he was on last year, football's very unique in Australia because, like, cricket, they all support cricket. Rugby, they all support cricket. Blah blah blah, AFL. But with football, it's like, oh, I follow the A-League, or I follow MPL, or I follow the EPL.
Yeah.
It's just very much siloed.
Yeah, disjointed, yeah.
It's disjointed. And I think you don't want the championship versus the A-League, like, because
Oh,
the
100%.
goal should always be, how do we make
Football.
How do we make football just become the fucking number one sport?
Yeah.
And to do that, we're going to need, there's some sort of, there has to be a lot of people to put ego aside. There's going to have to be financial contributions involved. There's going to have to be a few smart people putting their heads together to figure out how the fuck do we make this work.
Yeah.
There might have to be a few compromises with contracts. I know some of the A-League clubs have got contracts at 2035.
Yeah.
I don't know how all that works, but there has to be some sort of compromise of, like, how do we make this work? Otherwise, they're going to have, do you want two failing projects? Or do you want one good one to die? Or do you want two really good ones with more people involved and everybody wins out of it?
Yeah.
And I think if the FA are putting money in towards it, and if, to be fair to them, this championship they're paying for travel, then now it's up to us as fans, as players, as coaches to get behind it and turn up to the games and put money towards it as well. Because then if they can go, okay, well, that was a worthwhile investment.
Yeah.
Fans are back, let's go again. And then at least if all the fans go to the games and all the players go to the games and it's a success, they can put it back on the FA and say, look, it's obviously working.
Yeah.
Let's put the money back into here.
Yeah.
As opposed to just...
I think a good thing is the fact that it completely runs separate from MPL football, because I think that there's then a lot of people that are involved in the game that will be free on Saturdays or free on Sundays to be like, do you know what, I'm going to go and watch a game.
Yeah.
Because, like, me, if I was involved and I was playing in my season and this was running alongside,
you miss the
there's
games?
no chance.
You really watch it, eh?
But now it's a case of I'm not on, so I'll go and watch
That's
games.
right,
Like,
yeah.
if you're
I'm
playing,
buzzing, man. I can't
I'll be
watch it.
buzzing to go and watch. Like,
Aye.
might even go Marconi. I've got a big game. Go Marconi. Like,
100%.
you go to places and see things.
Aye,
It's
class.
at a good time of year as well.
Yeah,
Coming up to
100%.
that summer period, the
Yeah, it's
Christmas
a bit warmer.
period. Yeah,
100%,
everyone's
man.
buzzing around this time of year, so perfect time to go out and watch sports.
The last thing, Canberra, Croatia, is it Nick Pratajina, I
Yep.
believe, 19-year-old.
For
He was the
United?
top goal scorer.
No, that's not... That's the guy...
He's from Canberra, Croatia.
Who's the Pratt? That plays at Sydney United?
Someone different, but I
Is it
know.
not Nick as well?
Don't know. I don't think so.
No?
This was with Dylan. Well, no, I can't actually say names.
Okay, I seen that name. I thought they'd signed him for Sydney United, but obviously not. Oh, he's a cracking little player as well. Boy for Sydney United.
He is. No, he's Michael, I think.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
But supposedly he's the one that, like, they're shining light to look out for him.
Right, okay.
Aye, Nick Pratajina, his name is. So that's the one, Canberra, Croatia.
Well, there's going to be probably a couple of podcasts or better than others that tell us a bit more insight to teams players. I mean, like I said, to get insight on all the new signings,
Oh,
what everyone's
it's
done.
difficult.
Like it's hard unless you've got someone in the know from that team.
100%.
But again, that's hopefully clubs can give us some insight on what the players are all like. But I think maybe on sort of general consensus that the two favourites for that league would be Avondale and Preston Lions.
Yep, 100%. That's why I actually wrote I gave us a wee prediction slot at the end. So
I'm going to predict that Spirit get out the group, but I think on paper, if you went to a bookies,
aye, Preston.
I think on paper they
Preston
two,
and Avondale.
if those two don't make it through, it'd be seen as a failure from their behalf.
100%. Yeah.
You do Premiership experience, I'm gonna-
Yeah, okay, so before we go to the next segment, just I'll shout out to our sponsors, Premiership Experience. So if you are a private school or an academy and you run overseas tours for your club and you're looking to go anywhere at all in the world, then Premiership Experience Australia is the place to go. They have got offices in Dubai, in Glasgow and in China, and they're now in Sydney. So if you are looking to take a trip for experience, or you're wanting to get your players coached by the elite football teams, or even go and see some games, you can make it completely bespoke to what you want it to be. You can play games, you can watch games, you can do a bit of tourism, you can do whatever you like. Just get in touch by clicking the link in the description box below, and there'll be a bespoke tour created for you and a quote to act upon. So before Chaz gets back, we will look at your career. But before we got into the career, Chaz always asks players, what's your favourite movie of all time and what you'd eat whilst you're watching it?
Oof. Favourite movie of all time? That's a tough one. I think the first one that jumps to my mind is actually Hitch.
Hitch?
Yeah, Will Smith.
Good film.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Great film.
That's one that I've watched, I think, the most.
Okay.
The most. And what was the second part?
What would you eat whilst you're watching it?
What would I eat? Oh man, that's got to be ice cream, chocolate,
All of it?
all of it, whatever's there, whatever sweets I've got. Massive sweet tooth, so I can't go watching any movie without something to eat.
I know.
For sure.
Do you know what does my nut in actually? This is just so I'm watching a film all night with my wife. No, we've got a 12-month-old son, so try to get an hour and a half to watch a film is very tricky, so we're sitting like, bro, let's watch it. She fucking pulls out a bag of popcorn, the cobs, whatever, the noisiest fucking things in the world. So the wee man's sleeping, so you need subtitles on as well, and you're, obviously subtitles can get you through it, but you still need to hear about the film. So just literally, just it starts. I'm like, you having a fucking laugh? She was like, I'm eating them. I'm like, put them in a fucking bowl. She just finishes them. I'm like, okay, I've dealt with it. Next thing, another packet. I'm like, you have got to be fucking kidding me on, man. Brutal. That is a pet peeve of mine, man. That's my boxing.
Do you know what's a pet peeve of mine? I'm like you, right? I've got a big sweet tooth. See now, because I'm in the house at night time, I'm not training. I have my dinner a lot earlier than I would normally eat. And I'm like,
There's
I
time
need
before you go
snacks.
to sleep, huh?
Like, I need snacks now. And I'm like, and somebody bought me a box of favourites for coaching. And you can't just have one now. So you're at 1, 2, 3, 4 before you, it's a disaster, man. So I need to actually speak to my fitness coach to get
Who's your fitness coach?
a new, it's this guy Rafferty.
I need one.
I actually need to get a programme to counter
Yeah.
the sweet tooth. Like, I'm bad.
I'm horrible.
Last night,
Horrible.
we finished dinner last night, and then I went on Uber Eats and got there's a place called Waffles.
Yeah.
Mate, it was delightful though, right? But like a big, massive, like small pizza size waffles, and it was like Nutella, banana, coconut bits. It was unreal, man.
It's so accessible. That's the problem.
I know, mate.
That's the problem.
And then I go to the gym this morning and I'm like, Chaz, why are you even fucking in this gym after what you were eating last night?
That's right. And that's the only reason why I try and train is that so I can keep eating.
So you can
Because
keep eating.
it's
I'm the same.
disastrous.
Next question for you.
Yes.
Karaoke song.
Oh, world's greatest.
Oh, okay, R. Kelly.
Yeah.
That's actually quite a good song.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Love that song. I think I performed that the other night in Melbourne.
Up on the bed singing with a bottle as your microphone.
What was your song?
World's greatest.
World's greatest.
Oh, aye, cheeky. Are you any good at it?
You'd have to ask the crowd. I don't know.
Well, here's your crowd, mate. There's
If
your floor.
if this was 24 hours ago, you'd have got your wish. You'd have got your wish.
Class. So now, mate, we are going to jump onto you.
Yeah.
Your playing career into your coaching career and everything else that's come with it, mate. So
Yeah.
tell us about your early football days.
Early football days, well, I was just obviously just another NPL rep player, whatever you want to call it, right through to, I guess, 15s.
Where did you start though? Like what?
Sutherland Sharks.
Sharks.
Yeah, was my local club, and shifted off to Olympic for 2 years. And I was nothing special. My dad has a really good background in football. Played for the first ever Australian schoolboys.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. Really knowledgeable. So I was lucky in a sense that I had a dad who understood the game. He was very firm and hard with me growing up, because obviously he just wanted the best for me. And he, I guess, one, I was his son, and two, he might have saw something in me that where I could have had at least somewhat of a career playing. And it wasn't until I actually played futsal that I sort of realised that, I might be actually not too bad at this.
Why was that?
When was that?
Why was that? Like, what did you feel differently when you were playing futsal?
So I played state league for the Sutherland Sharks.
Yep.
First time ever playing futsal. And I was playing under 16s. And the first grade coach at the time was Hector Martinez. And now Hector he's had a few academies over his years. Yep. I don't know if you know the name.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and he played for Argentina. And he played against my dad when my dad played futsal for Australia.
Okay.
So obviously seeing him around, they sort of, hey, I remember you. And, that conversation goes with the football world, and watch me play. And then sort of pointed out, is that your son? And my dad said, yeah, he's 14, playing 16, blah, blah, blah. And he said, I want him to play first grade with him. And my dad said, are you sure? He's only 14. He goes, yeah. No, he'll play. So then I ended up playing 16s, 19s, and first team.
At 14?
At 14. And I got belted and bashed, as you can imagine, when you step onto that pitch. There's no such thing as age.
Right.
And they didn't care that I was that young and I was a baby. But futsal really helped in sort of, I was able to develop quick thinking.
Yeah.
Because obviously the spaces are really tight.
Yeah.
And I wasn't strong enough. I wasn't fast enough. Everything physically, I was behind. So the only thing I could do to get away from all that was I had to be quick upstairs to avoid everything like that. And in that 2 years of my life sort of really projected me into sort of realizing that, okay, I might have something here.
Yeah.
And then I took that out onto the outdoor field, the 11v11, and made my debut at St. George at 15, first grade, scored actually. And then, I was able to sort of, went to Europe, came back, had visa issues, and signed with Sydney FC, the youth squad. So that was a really pivotal 2 years of, I guess, development for me. Yeah, ended up making the national team as well for futsal.
I was going to say that with futsal, because how do you feel like because futsal's very new to you, or with me, and you don't really get that in Scotland, futsal.
Nah.
Yeah.
So how do you feel that served you as a football player on the other side? It's a different sport, isn't it?
Yeah.
But obviously
very,
some
very
transferable
different.
skills.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing that I took out of it was quick thinking, the ability to think quick. And then obviously when you take that onto a bigger pitch, you've got more time.
More space.
No matter what position you play, you have more time. And then obviously being able to jump into the first team at St. George when I was, again, quite young. I had already been there a little bit for a couple of years. So the transition into that didn't seem as big.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't phase you.
I mean, by the time I was 20, I had been around first team football for 5 years.
Oh, that's fucking brilliant.
So I was very, very lucky in that sense.
That's something we spoke about quite a lot, is probably what's missing, what we find anyway, is under 20 is the one we mention most. Like that transition to players who've never even touched a first grade game of football.
Yeah.
And then they get to 20 and 21 when it's the last year of being able to play 20s.
Yeah.
And then it's like, but they need to find a first grade club.
Yeah.
But first grade clubs are reluctant to take them because they've got no experience. And if they do come in for a trial, it's a challenge for them because it's a big jump. Whereas a lot of the under 20s, again, what we feel is there might be better stepping down a division and try to get some first grade experience.
Well, that's exactly what I did. So I went from Olympic 16 to St. George 20s and then played first grade the same season.
Okay.
And that was, so that little period of futsal, and my dad obviously telling me, look, it's because I skipped the 18s rather than stay at Olympic and playing the 18s. My dad said, look, go 20s. Again, you get that sort of man element.
Yep.
And if you're good enough, maybe there's a chance to sort of crack the first team, or you'll always have first graders dropping down. So you'll learn a lot more.
Well. Aye.
Yeah. So I dropped the league, went to the State League 2, whatever it's called. Played 20s and did quite well. Scored 30 odd goals and played first grade 10 games or so and scored about 8 goals as well in that.
Oh,
and that's And then from the back of that, I signed with Sydney.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah. But that's the best thing, and I encourage all young kids to sort of you shouldn't be wanting to play 18s. You shouldn't be wanting to play 20s because, you can get to 20 years old and you've only played 20s.
Aye.
For me, that you're gone.
It's just tricky. It's just tough.
I don't want to say you're gone, but
You need to play men's football.
100%. And the earliest you can expose yourself to that, the better it is for you.
Yeah, I completely agree, man.
We've got a few boys at Spirit who are we come on against Rockdale and we've had 3 boys that come on, but I think Charlie Broomhead, 17, come in. He's been training with us the whole year.
Yeah.
Not done a ton of minutes with us, but he's trained every session with us. Yeah. That'll last a long time. 100%. And he's been part of the squad that's won the title, which again has experience. I've been involved in a title winning squad. Yeah. Again, he's not going to say, we're the reason we won the league or anything, but he's been in the changing room. He's seen the talks from the gaffer. He's seen how we've dealt with hard moments, the good moments.
That's right.
Yeah.
That lasts a long, long time, man. It serves a big part of your career.
Even the standards associated with first grade football are so different, isn't it? Like other players demand certain standards from you, demand things, whereas when you play 20s, 18s,
you're all kids.
Yeah,
I was going to say, you've got a wide range of people in the changing room in it. You've got the 35-year-old who's maybe at the end of his career, who's seen it all. You've got the 21-year-old who's up and coming. You've got a bit of everything.
Yeah, 100%.
The 20s it's just the 20s.
Yeah.
And everyone's in the same mindset.
Yeah, the first grade coach, my 20s coach at St George was Nas Martino, and the first grade coach was Nick Orlich. Now, Nick Orlich was a Socceroo and I think was South Melbourne captain back in the olden days. So, he was frightening as a first grade coach. I tell you what, frightening.
Especially when you're 15 years old, man.
Frightening. But like I said, they treat you once you're in that. Well, it's a bit different now, but particularly in that little era, I sort of caught the back of the old school era. Whereas if you were in that first grade change room, you were a first grader and you were treated as such, and there was no such thing as age. Yeah. You were a young kid and you had to pick up the gear. You had to. Yeah. A lot has changed. A lot has changed. In that 15 years now, 31, a lot has changed. But
did you have what was it, one of the worst jobs? Did you ever do any jobs that were like ridiculous, like
cleaning boots and I did all that when I was at Sydney.
That's the standard about cleaning boots.
Making sure the gear and all that. Even though they had a kit man and they had a team manager and someone that their job was full time was to collect gear at Sydney. The young players had to do it. And I had my first taste of it at St George. So I was lucky. in that sense.
So you said that after that you went overseas. Where did you go?
Yeah, I went to England, Spain, and Netherlands. An FEA academy made a select 11. To go and travel and play games in England. I never attended the academy. But the coach had called me up and asked me if I wanted to join for this tour, which I did. So I got to train and play against Charlton, Wolverhampton, trained at Chelsea, trained at Liverpool. Went to Spain, Espanyol, went to FC Utrecht in Netherlands. And on the back of the futsal, because I was always a midfielder growing up, just a number 10, cruisy. And then I sort of shifted into a goal scorer when I went overseas and had clubs like Everton reach out and wanting to bring me back.
Oh, there
was a couple of clubs, Charlton, Utrecht was another one. At the time, I was only young, so I didn't have a manager, and all this stuff was quite new to me. And then the visa element comes in, and the only way I could go back was if I was to bring a family member, and it becomes a little bit tricky when it goes down that road. But not long after coming back, I had signed with Sydney, so that was sort of my, saving grace in a sense. And being signed with Sydney would help me if I was to ever go back overseas at the time. So I thought that was, a good outcome essentially for me.
What about, so you're now at Sydney FC at this point in your career? Who's in your squad at that point? Anyone who we would know?
Yeah, so I was one of the youngest. Up front was Blakey Powell, Blake Powell, Mitch Malia. Joel Keynesi was dropping down into our squad. He had just jumped up, I think, from memory to the first team squad, so he was playing a lot of games in our team. Caleb Bruffer, I don't know if you know him. No. His dad was Oceania Player of the Century, actually.
Of the century?
Yeah, of the century, yeah.
Fucking not bad.
Winton Rufer, yeah, Kiwi. He played for Werder Bremen.
Winter Rufer?
Winton Rufer.
Oh, right, I was just... Winter Rufer?
Only what trade? Yeah, he was on FIFA Classic 11. He was a FIFA Classic 11 player. So they were all the forwards So I was well down the pecking order. And I guess going into that season, I had just had my first knee operation.
Was it ACL?
No, I had split my artery.
How'd that happen?
I don't know. It's the surgeon was saying once every 2.5, 3 years that they see something like that at the time anyway.
Oh, just randomly happened to you?
Yeah, it's just a contact, and it just hit the wrong spot. And yeah, my knee was full of blood, and it was sort of 3 or 4 days of in limbo, and then had emergency surgery. Obviously, the blood sitting in the knee and not circulating wasn't good. So I spent the first half of the season injured, coming back from that, even though I had already signed. And then I had a couple good games back to back, which saw me jump up and take the number 9 spot for the rest of the season. Yeah. And,
so were you playing in the NPL sort of setup?
No, so back then it was actual youth league.
Yeah,
We
yeah, yeah.
travelled
So
in
you
the
said
States.
that's right. Bay mentioned
It was
that,
on.
right.
Yeah, it was on. Not. I can't remember if it was on par, but we were playing A-League clubs, and we were travelling interstate. So it was very a much better competition than what it is now, I think.
Yeah, okay.
Because you got exposed to being able to deal with having to travel, right, as a player. Now we're talking about this Australian Championship. Players that are playing now haven't really travelled before, right?
Yep.
Or you talk about the youth leagues, they play in their local competitions. So then imagine the jump of actually joining the first team and then having to play on the same day as you've got a flight.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Very, very different.
No, of course.
But you're not doing that all the time. Whereas when I was playing, we were doing that. Every second week we were travelling interstate or playing. So we got used to it. And it helped us prepare, not just me, it helped everyone prepare for if you ever made the jump to the first team, you already had that under your belt. So you already knew that. So it was much easier. Ended up becoming the number 1, number 9, and had a meeting at the time. Vidislav Levichka was the head coach of Sydney FC. Yeah, he was quite successful in his time there. Ian Crook was my coach.
Yep.
Brian Dean was the assistant. Gary Cole was, I think technical director of some importance there. And had a really good meeting after, I think it was 2 or 3 games. I'd come off the bench and scored. Then obviously got the starting position. And I had a meeting about the next season. Again, I only had a handful of games under my belt, and I remember sitting there as a 17-year-old. I would have been 17 at the time. And with these big figures, right? So it's obviously you feel small. I was already young, and you're feeling small looking around you. And it was the first time I'd ever really sat in something like that. Yeah. And I remember Ian Crook turned to me and goes, I don't think you understand how good you are of a footballer. And again, like I said, I had the first grade coach of Sydney FC sitting there as well opposite me, just staring at me. And he said, all you need to do is you have all the elements to be the next number 9 for the Socceroos for as long as you want. You just need to work out how to get all the elements into one basket. So you took traits of a forward, right? You need to be quick, powerful. You need to be able to read the game. You need to be able to finish. You need to have vision, right? So you imagine build your perfect forward. I just had to put all of those elements in the one basket, and I guess the world was my oyster. So I took that, and I never forgot that, and I finished off the season really, really well. And the plan was to join the first team the following year. I was just going to play 6 to 8 weeks of the NPL season before rejoining, because I was obviously lacking game time at the time. As I said, I missed the first half of the season. So the plan was, to join an NPL. I ended up joining Canberra because they went fast. They just said, just find somewhere, first team, where you're going to be playing regular football. So I joined the Berries. And that's when a couple of weeks in, I ruptured my ACL.
My God.
And tore everything inside my knee.
Was that from a tackle or just wrong step?
No, and it was actually a Bonnyrigg midweek game. The ball had come from the right side, and I went to shift with my chest on the turn. And I turned, and my knee just snapped.
My God.
Yeah, and then that sort of eventuated into some really difficult moments of my early sort of playing days, I guess.
So you're at Sydney FC, you went and got some first-time experience. This has happened to you.
Yep.
Obviously, before that game, you're thinking, right, okay, I've been told I can be the next number 9 at the Socceroos if I keep doing what I'm doing, basically. Yeah. And that happens. So mentally, there must have been the biggest challenge for you, more than physical at this point.
It's funny, I probably didn't deal with the mental side of that until a lot later in my life. Now, I ended up going Sydney brought me back anyway.
Did they do your treatment for you? Did they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Good,
yeah.
good,
So
good.
they brought me back, and obviously they were upset for me. But obviously football is a revolving door, right? So when something like this happens, they start looking and okay, we've got to bring someone else in. Okay, but they were willing to do my rehab and take me through, and everything they had planned for the season that I was just about to miss, we would then put in place for the next season. I guess, which is a fantastic outcome, obviously, because I hadn't really achieved or done much at the time there, because I was only there.
Basically.
That's right. Yeah. So I was still relatively new, but they had obviously some really good plans for me, which was nice. So I went back, did my rehab, and in the return to play phase, re-snapped my ACL. So
Same one.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
clean snap. And then I had, when I went for the operation for the second ACL, I ended up doing both knees at the same time. So by the time I hit 19, 20, I had 4 major surgeries. And then, the door at Sydney FC was shut after that.
Oh, did they close? Was that after that?
Yeah, well, you can imagine. Like
Injury risk.
We've been around long enough to know you've had a 17-year-old kid from the age of 17 to 19, 4 back-to-back surgeries. 2 of them being major reconstructions, one of them being an artery and the other one being a cleanup. So you're investing a lot into someone that doesn't look like you can hold up, right? So I would do the same in their position, to be honest.
So how was that conversation for them to tell you that?
I just got it from my agent, to be honest.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. I did speak to Crookie, and I kept in touch with Crookie, and he was, someone I guess hold close to because of the care that he had for me. He ended up jumping up and coaching the first team as well in all of this. So he still made time to talk to me, and he always told me never to stop, get myself back, get back into the NPL, because there was a little bit of a moment there where I was like, well, I'll just find something else to do. Yeah. Right, because I wasn't sure how my body would hold up, but he encouraged me to keep playing. Particularly, there was a time there where I wanted to quit. I think it would have been 22 when I was at the Sharks, and Sharks was really struggling. Robbie Standard had left, and all the senior boys, Pani Nikas, Stavroulakis, Alassi, Perry Mustakis, they were like, they embraced me when I returned from all the injuries. But then after all of those guys disappeared, I sort of thought, like, what do I really want in football? Like, I've sort of lost my chance. I'd felt that I'd lost my chance, and it's a big commitment. I thought maybe I should find something else to do and start working like everyone else. But Ian Crook was one of the many people that told me to stick at it, and ended up joining Rockdale and had a really, really good season. Top goal scorer. I think it's probably the last time Euro's been beaten in a top goal scorer.
Was you on that team with you?
Yeah.
Was he?
Yeah. So I ended up playing, and then
that was 2017.
I don't even know.
So when was it? When was it? We worked at the.
We lost to Manly in the semi-final on penalty shootouts. That was that year. I don't even know what year that was.
How old were you when we worked with you at Olympic Park?
Yeah, I would have been there, 22.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was just moving to Rockdale that year.
Ah, yeah, okay. Because I
remember you and I spoke about. I wasn't sure if I was playing. Do you remember?
Yeah,
I think you remember.
I remember. Yeah.
I didn't know. Yeah, so that was the moment that I moved to Rockdale. Yeah, I went back and played futsal, and sort of got like a bit more of a feeling back. I was working with you guys at the institute. Yeah, and I thought, okay, well, feeling a bit better about myself, and had a really good season. The team at Rockdale had a really good season. Had some really good guys, and I sort of got like a second wind, I suppose, and from that I ended up getting a contract in Cyprus the year after. Yeah.
Where'd you go?
Nicosia, a club called Lakatamia.
Yeah. Okay.
They were in the second division at the time. I'm not sure. I haven't really kept tabs on them now, but it was a chance to go back to professional football, which is what I always wanted. And I gave that a crack until my knees completely broke down.
So how was your time in Cyprus?
Difficult at the start. The first few weeks were
some homesickness or traveling.
Homesickness. I had gone to the States prior to this, where I got absolutely belted and battered, and wanted to come home. straight away.
When you get belted, that wasn't belted.
Physically.
Oh, okay.
Physically. When I literally landed off a plane, I was going to train with an under 23. So it's similar to like a college sort of thing.
Like
They have a
US.
breakaway league in the US.
Yeah,
And
the
they sort
PDL
of
league. Yeah.
they get drafted into the MLS.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a contact that tried to get me over there and literally got off the plane and played a game straight away. I got hammered, played another game. A couple of days later, got hammered, played another game. It was too overwhelming for me.
Okay,
and I didn't deal with it at all well. And I wanted to come back, so I came back pretty quick smart. So that was that. And then Cyprus, again, the first few weeks, I found it very difficult to be away because I'm very family orientated. I've never really nestled outside of that, particularly Sydney. So to move over there alone, I had a partner at the time, but everyone sort of stayed here. Obviously, new country, new language, all the difficulties you have, that every footballer or any sports person has when they go and travel. I had, and again, the first few weeks I wanted to sort of pack it in, but I sort of stuck it out. And once I sort of fell into the routine of training twice a day and being the professional footballer that I always wanted to be, I thoroughly enjoyed my time.
Did you play well?
I did.
Aye.
I did, yeah. I struggled early on, as I said, because I think what people like players don't realise is everyone's got a dream to play in Europe. But then before you even step onto the pitch, you've got to deal with all that.
Aye. And
some people just don't understand it until they're in that position. And I certainly didn't understand that. So that transferred onto the pitch where I was I was an instinctual player. I played on instinct, and when my instincts and my insides were going left, right and centre, it translated onto the pitch. So I really struggled. And when you're in professional environments, when you have training practices, right, or you go through drills, maybe not so much in the top MPL, but when you go probably like second division, you go down, there'd be a couple passes before there's a mistake and the drill breaks down and then you get a new ball, right? So we see it all the time. When you step up into that phase of the professional side of the game, that doesn't happen. There's not much breakdowns, 9 out of 10 shots hit in the back of the net. 9 out of 10 passes are hitting where they're supposed to hit. Every cross is hitting the mark. And those little details took me a while to adjust to. And I first felt that I didn't have the quality to do it because that was their normal. And I was seeing, again, something for the first time almost again. Yeah. But then give it a month. I gave it a month and that became my normal. I went over there as a 9, ended up playing 10. My outlook on what I wanted to achieve changed. I wanted to be the best player. Obviously, I was the import as well, so you got to there's a price tag to that. There was a couple other players that were from other countries as well, so we were the big players that were going to help us get promoted right into the first division. So there's some baggage attached to that, and that's something I had to deal with, which again took a little bit of time. And then when I sort of looked at the role different as being the number 9, the goal scorer, as I just wanted to be the most important player on the team, because the most important player on the team plays every week, no matter how good you think you are.
Yeah.
When you make the team work, your name's on the team sheet. Like you see it all around the world. Some of the best individual players are sitting on the sideline because that's not what the team needs, right? Yep. So I had that mentality and I shifted it to being the most important player for us, and I did really well. I scored some goals and obviously it was a crucial part in our team. And then our strength and conditioning coach got sacked. Mm-hmm. And obviously I went there they obviously knew all my medical history and the knees, and they believed they could work with me and get the best out of me and keep me on the pitch. So there was a different sort of program for me. And when the period of losing the strength and conditioning coach to the first team, like he had a falling out with the first team coach, and then we had a period where there was no strength and conditioning, so the first team coach took it all on board himself. Yeah, is where in that 4-week period my body broke down.
Oh really?
Yeah, where I couldn't say no. I was doing things that I wasn't supposed to do just because the coach is saying you got to do it. No one was really going against what he wanted, right? Yeah. So there was instead of looking at someone who does all the plays individually, the coach is doing everyone as a collective. So if it's to run 10 laps, everyone's running 10 laps, even though you've done enough or minutes. Yeah. So that communication breakdown led to me just not wanting to say no, stupidly as well. I was starting to take painkilling tablets that were like this thick, just to go to sleep, and I was losing weight because obviously when you're taking.
Were they prescribed? Or did you just,
No. So I went under the market just to keep me on the pitch, and eventually it did work.
Did anyone know you were taking them or just you?
No, I just remember, mate.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So I'd lost a lot of weight and obviously wasn't helping the insides. But it was just to help me sleep. My knees were on fire.
Fuck.
I couldn't get in and out of the car, and yeah, it was really, really difficult. And then it wasn't until I came off after one game, probably about the 85th minute, and I was just running like an animal. We were down to 10 men. And then I just sort of walked off the sideline and I sat down on the halfway line. And I thought to myself, I don't know if I can do this anymore. Rang my agent after the game and said, listen, you're going to have to get me checked out because this is what's happening. So I sort of told him, this is what I'm doing. He said, all right, well, leave it with me and we'll contact one of the lead surgeons in the country, and we've got this Russian spy doctor.
Spy doctor?
Yeah. Honestly, man, then we can go see him and everything will be all right. And I went and saw the surgeon, and virtually he just put me on the bed and, done the ACL tests on both knees. Test this, that. And he's sort of looking at me. I'm looking at him thinking, I hope he says something relatively positive. It doesn't feel great. And then I jumped off the bed, sat with him, and he sort of asked me about, how you going? I said, yeah, look, obviously my knees are struggling. What are you thinking? And he goes, before we get into that, what do you want in life? Right? Literally, he said, what do you want in life? And I said, obviously to play football and provide. And I had a partner at the time. I said, I moved over here so I could build, again, a bit of a financial case for myself so I could start a family and do all the wonderful things that I wanted in the world. And he said, "Oh, you kids?" I said, "Yeah, love kids. Can't wait to have them." He said, "It'd be good to be able to run around with them, right?" I said, "Yeah, I would love nothing more." And he goes, "All right, well, you got to stop playing football right now." Pretty much. And that was like a big reality check at the time. I was like, "Stop." He goes, "Yeah, your knees are on breaking point, both of them. Like they're loose. The strength is gone. You've really damaged yourself." So again, it was a reality check, but it didn't hit me again till a little bit after. So I rang the agent and we spoke to the club, and the club were blowing up. Obviously,
really?
Yeah.
You can't walk. I don't give a fuck.
Not so much that of the injuries, but more so I think what they saw they would lose within the team.
As emotional response.
Yeah. And it's so funny because the minute I stopped playing, our team never scored a goal for 3 months.
Fuck.
My value went up in the next 2 weeks of me not playing because our team was struggling.
I guess they missed.
That's right. So all of a sudden, I've been told that I can't play football, and my agent's getting calls left, right, and centre from various different countries. Hey, why isn't he playing? We're looking at signing him. And you know what Europe's like.
Yeah.
One person talks to one person, all of a sudden your name's everywhere.
You contact any big clubs?
Not so much. It was Indonesia, it was Singapore, those Sudan was one of them. Coming back to Australia, back into the A-League was in there at the time. But
how old were you at this point?
25.
25, right, okay.
Yeah.
Were you now 31?
Yeah, 25. So all of a sudden, again, my value went up. So it was like a double kick in the teeth because I knew I couldn't play. So obviously, I'd spent a bit of time doing rehab there. Came back to Australia, and of course, you don't listen to the doctors. And I thought maybe I can keep playing in the NPL. Gave it a bit of a rest. Went back to Rockdale. Was on and off again from that point on. Once I arrived back to Australia, I was on and off until I guess Preston. With playing, never really completed a season. Was always injured, struggled.
Was it always a knee that was getting injured?
Or and then everything else that comes.
That's what I mean.
Everything else around, everything else around me was breaking down. Had a few hamstring issues as well.
Yeah, I forgot that.
And then I guess COVID happened, and that gave me my out. So once the COVID sort of appeared and football was on hold for a little bit, I chose to step away from the game. So I can't quite remember the year of that exactly, but I chose to stop. And then what that sort of entered my probably most biggest challenge in my life was in that period there.
The COVID period.
In the COVID period, yeah.
Was it? So you obviously stopped. First, I was going to say I'm surprised you went back to playing, considering the conversation with that guy, and you chose to go back to Rockdale.
Yeah.
But again, understandable, because you're probably everyone gets. I don't want to say bad advice, but you get mixed advice from physios, doctors, and you hear loads of stories of people. They say they'd never play again, and you played 10 years, and blah blah blah. Then COVID happens, which again was brutal for everybody involved, for mental health perspective. So, what do you think the COVID was a catalyst for what was then to come, or do you think it was coming anyway?
I think now that I can look back, it was coming anyway.
Yeah, okay.
But I think COVID was what accelerated, obviously, because, you know, I was very fortunate at the time. I was working in Randwick Public School.
Yeah.
So I was able to go to work. You know, a lot of people were working from home. But because I wasn't playing football, I had a lot of free time. And with the free time came a lot of thinking. And with a lot of thinking comes emotions.
Yeah.
And with emotions comes, you sort of lose control, particularly if you haven't really dealt with anything in your life properly. And I was always someone that was quite introverted. Any sort of thing that happened to me, I kept to myself. I was always quiet as well growing up. And then all of a sudden I started to think about my childhood. I started to think about losing relatives, losing friends, and my whole life pretty much just hit me straight in the face.
You living alone at this point?
No, I was with my family.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so excuse me, always had a wonderful supportive family that never turned their back on me. Always had wonderful supporting friends. So really, I had nothing to complain about, right?
But were they aware that you were having these thoughts?
So not on the early stages. When I started to develop this mentality of I've failed, and then I started to pinpoint a lot of areas in my life where I thought I just wasn't good enough. My body broke down, and this is where the injury started to creep forward. And I could have made it. You know, I might not have. You know, one coach loved me, maybe another coach didn't like me. You know, in football, it's about a matter of opinion. But at the time, I was in an environment where people were wanting me to progress. And then, not because of me, but because of the injuries, I was taken out of that.
Yeah.
And then going to Europe, again, I was taken out of that. Not by choice. And then I had relationship breakdowns that, again, came to the forefront, and not being in the position I wanted to be in at that stage of my life was really, really difficult to sort of handle. And at the time, I thought it was the most difficult. I don't know if you remember one of my close friends, Idris. I don't know if you remember. He passed away. He was the Rockdale player.
I remember this happening. Yeah, but I don't know personally.
Yeah, so he was one of my close friends. So prior to him passing away, we had sort of connected on this level, whereas I saw myself as a bit of a failure, and he was trying to find his place in the world, right? So I get my friends and family knew that I was just going through a bit of a rough spot.
Yeah.
And at that time that's all it was. So we spent, you know, months on end together, sort of like trying to find an avenue of, I guess, therapy, doing our own research, things like that, to try and help us get out of like what we were feeling.
Did you go and see someone?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. I found some psychologists online and linked up with her, and he found some, used mine as well. So we were very much doing a road to recovery together, right? And just as I started to sort of peel out and see, okay, like there's a light at the end of the tunnel, this is fantastic, he sort of went the other way.
Oh, okay.
And then we lost contact for a couple of weeks. He had obviously gone into hospital, and I'll never forget the night I got a phone call from, I actually spoke to Idris one afternoon, and he sort of rang me and said, mate, thank you for everything, like our friendship, and was a really like a beautiful phone call, but an odd one. And at the time of hearing it, I didn't quite understand what I was listening to.
Yeah.
But virtually, without going into too much detail, virtually the conversation was to say, you know, this is it for me, and this is my goodbye to you. And then, the next night I got a phone call from his brother that he was sort of escaped from the hospital, and they weren't sure where he was, and me and my dad went out looking for him in Bondi Beach that night. Obviously didn't find him, and then found out the next morning that he'd taken his life. And then the next 2 weeks were quite numbing. Obviously, it's quite traumatic for anyone, and I wasn't the only person going through that. Obviously, his family and he had other friends as well. But that really rocked me, because whereas I felt there was a light at the end of the tunnel, to see someone that you were virtually arm in arm with, going through the same sort of thing, end up the way he ended up. And then I just completely spiraled after that.
At that point, obviously your family were aware of the emotional reaction due to his passing, but do you think that was just everything else in the last few months, the last year as well, on top of that, coming back to fruition again?
Yeah. It was everything that I had sort of kept hidden inside was now at the forefront. I managed to get myself back into work, and during this period, I didn't want to have anything to do with football ever again. It had scarred me to a point where it had gave me so much, and then took everything. I felt like it took everything as well away from me. And then I just slowly, each day, started to sort of dip in, is there a light at the end of the tunnel? And that sort of, the more days that went on, the more the answer was, in my head, was no. And I was, I guess, like clockwork, I was getting up, going to work every day, and I didn't really change that. But I was starting to lose myself in that period, to the point where I guess one afternoon that I had sort of made the call myself that life wasn't for me anymore. I guess, which is it's not easy to say now, and I guess not many people know that that's how far I was in my head, how far gone I was. I was at work where I just sort of I sort of made the decision that life wasn't for me, and I wasn't waking up tomorrow morning.
So from that moment, what did you act upon it?
I did, and I remember driving home from work, and I sort of like asked. Always been a man of faith to some extent, but I said if there was a sign to keep me on this earth, that now was the time, because by the time I leave work, I wasn't going home. So I took myself to the place where I saw it all sort of ending, I guess. And if it wasn't for the presence of a stranger in that moment, my life, I wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation. For certain.
So someone stopped you doing what you're doing?
Just the presence.
Right, okay.
Yeah, just his presence, sort of, the man in the Soviet, just sort of brought me back to some form of reality, whereas I sort of was like, oh shit, and just got into my car and drove home. And I remember going home, I went straight upstairs, and no one knew at this point. So no one. I was drinking. I was doing things that I never did.
Yep.
Because I felt so far gone.
You taking drugs?
No.
No, okay.
No, not in this period. I was drinking. Just drinking. Heavily drinking. But I had kept it away from everyone. And the only person who knew, I guess, the extent was Idris at the time. And I never passed that information on to anyone else. So I ended up going home, and I remember crying myself to sleep. And then virtually didn't sleep at all, pretty much. And thought, well, okay, this is going to be the day. Today's the day. Now's the time. Until I got one phone call that changed everything.
What was the phone call?
Phone call was from Trent McClanahan, actually.
No way.
Yeah. and he had just rang out of the blue because he had noticed that I wasn't playing football, and he just rang to ask me how I was. Now Trent wasn't like, we were teammates at one stage, and we were never the type to sort of pick up the phone and call each other.
Yep.
You know, every day. He had rang me the next morning. Sorry, he had rang me and just sort of asked what I was doing and how I was, and I virtually said on the phone, "This is where I'm at. This is what happened yesterday," and I virtually told him like, "That's it for me, man. I'm done with life and with everything else." So
what you just shared with us, you told him?
yeah, I told him, and I had lost all emotion from my body. I could say that now. It's hard for me to say now.
Of course, yeah.
Right? And you can probably see it and hear it in my voice. But when I was saying it to him at the time, there was no emotion attached at all. There was no.
You just gave up, basically.
I had given up.
Okay.
I had thrown in the towel. So I just said, yeah, this is what happened yesterday. I told him exactly what happened. And he said, "Where are you?" I said, "I'm at home." He goes, "Don't go anywhere. I'm going to make a phone call. I'll call you back in 2 minutes." I said, "No worries." He rang back after 2 minutes and he said, "Listen, you're going to get a phone call from Bo Bush." Bo Bush worked for the PFA. And he was sort of the head of that mental health space, that mental health sector. And he said, "Listen, he's going to give you a call. I want you to tell him exactly what you're telling me and then let me know." I said, "Yeah, no stress. No problem." Bo Bush rang within 5 minutes. And I again shared with him the same story from the night before. And he said, "Look, he's part of the PFA and you've been a professional footballer. I'm extending a helping hand in this period." He said, "We can't have that. Virtually, we can't have you thinking like this, and we're going to do everything in our power to help you." He said, "I'm going to put you on a phone call with one of our lead psychologists here in Melbourne. Don't leave your house. Can you spend time talking to her?" Which I did. She rang, and it just really surreal. Again, I was very, very emotionless, but just sort of, yeah, no problem. Like, in my head, you weren't changing my mind.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, do what you want.
Do what you want, whatever it
yeah.
is. I guess, which is really a frightening place to be at, right? Particularly when I'm very much a family man, and I love my family and friends.
At this point, though, so you obviously knew. Trent knows.
Yep.
Bo knows.
Yep.
The psychologist knows, but no one else knows.
No.
Right. Okay.
No. So I spent a couple of hours on the phone. From memory, her name was Hayley Maddich.
Yep.
And she sort of said, "Listen, she's going to virtually walk with me for the next few days from Melbourne. So literally hold my hand through this next phase." Obviously, there's a term for it when you're talking about road to recovery in that space. She said, "First thing I need you to do is just to notify 3 circles of your life what's going on." Because I said, I hadn't told anyone. So one of the circles was my family circle, one of the circle was my work circle, and the other was friends. She said, "You're going to go to work today?" I said, "Yeah." "On your way to work, give me a call and we'll just talk."
Yeah. Okay.
And we'll just talk. So we did.
Is that just to basically make sure you get there okay?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
okay.
at this stage, I was quite a high risk, I suppose, because I was in that sort of frame of mind, which is obviously quite dangerous to myself and others as well, depending. So I took myself to work, pretty much walked in, pulled my bosses into the office. I said, "Hey, this is what happened yesterday." And that's where I'm at virtually. And they sort of broke down into tears. Obviously, from what I had said, was obviously quite hard to hear. But again, emotional detachment. I'm looking at 2 people in front of me crying and not feeling an absolute thing. So I sort of told them and told Hayley that I told them. I was on a phone call with her on my way home until I got another phone call from Nick Kyle, actually, and he sort of said, "Hey, what are you up to? What, do you want to play football again?"
So again, it's just a random phone
Random
call by
phone
chance.
call.
Yeah, okay.
And I said, "Actually, not really. This is where I'm at." Told him everything from the night before as well.
Did you know Nick Carroll well before this?
Yeah, so
Yeah, okay.
we met through our time at Sydney,
Yeah, okay.
and he took, I guess, quite a liking to me, and was one of the senior boys that put his arm around me, and he was the one that got me back to playing futsal. So we had a good relationship. I still have a good relationship to this day. He rang me out of the blue. Again, we always traded messages and things like that, but we weren't the phone call type.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So he rang, and I told him what had happened. I told him my frame of mind, and he almost blew his sock, obviously. Again, I can't imagine hearing that from someone.
Yeah.
So I couldn't tell you what he felt, but obviously he was quite taken back, I guess, at the honesty, and obviously offered every type of support there was, that he would do anything. And I so I hung up with him and spoke to Hayley again and said, "Look, I've told work. I guess I've told one friend. I'll go and tell my parents when I go home." So obviously got home, went upstairs, sort of pulled my mum and dad in, sat them on the bed, and explained to them what had happened.
How was that?
You'd have to ask them how they really felt, but not easy. I guess not easy knowing that your son is in that frame of mind. You know, my dad's quite a strong character, doesn't show emotion at all. I've only seen my dad, cry twice. One was after I had the other big operation, did my ACL again, and the other was at his dad's funeral. To have him, I guess, sitting next to me break down,
Yep.
and have mum break down, with the shakes, and like, I can't imagine what they were feeling. And again, I was sitting there. Now I'm getting emotional talking about it.
Yeah.
But telling them at the time, I was like that, just blank.
Did you feel anything when you saw their reaction?
No,
Nothing.
nothing, because in my head, I was still
Gone.
gone. Yeah, I was still gone.
How many days, or how many, or even weeks is this after the actual event? How many days after? So obviously you've acted upon it, you've seen the guy in the silver, you've paid it off, but you spoke to Trent, you spoke to Nick, you spoke to Bo, you
This
spoke
was
to
all next day.
The next day.
So this, you told your mum and dad the next day after this had happened?
Yeah.
So that all these people involved in these conversations all happened within 24 hours?
Yeah,
Fucking hell.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, which I guess if I asked for a sign, I suppose, and there were the few signs in quick time.
The fucking phone call for Trent.
Yeah, which
It's madness.
Out of
Yeah.
the blue, man.
yeah, and that's
Or the silver, however you look at it.
a few very, very important moments. And then, so I told my family, and I wasn't under watch, but I was sort of anywhere I was for the next week. I was, I guess, monitored. I was with someone.
Yep.
Yeah, I was never alone for the next sort of 5 to 6 days before I started my, I guess, journey back to reality through the PFA.
The PFA were the ones who you, obviously everyone you've mentioned so far, pivotal to where you're at right now, but
Yep.
the PFA are the one who took the full support.
Yep.
Okay.
So then what did that look like? Like, what was the first thing that you had to do or go to, or like how?
Yeah, I had to see a psychologist here.
Yeah.
In the city. I'll keep that to myself, but that was a really grueling time, because I was hanging on. I was really, really hanging on for that, I guess, the next few weeks. And I was still in that mindset of, I don't want to wake up tomorrow, you know, because I was at this stage, I had already had anxiety, and I never really dealt with anxiety. And for those, I think anxiety is a part of everyone. There's always moments in everyone's life where you get a bit anxious and a bit nervous, but that was what it felt like was 24 hours of the day. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sort of get any sort of clarification with like my life. I didn't know what I was feeling, my emotions. I had no control. A relationship breakdown. I just felt that there was no way, because prior to this, I had tried to see someone, and I tried to see a few different people. I even checked myself into a GP to sort of get help from their side before I'd even gotten to this stage. And it just wasn't helping. Nothing had worked, which is why I got to that mindset. Well, if the experts can't help me, what freaking chance do I have of getting through this? So then fast forward it back to the road to recovery was intense psychologist sessions back to back every week.
Was it I was going to ask you how regularly we're doing them?
3 times. Plus, I was speaking to Hayley. So there was not a moment where I was alone. Yeah, for a good couple of months.
And then when did you start to kind of feel again? And she obviously said you felt very detached emotionally. Like, when did you start to feel?
I guess it would have been a couple months in where something had bothered me at work. Because one of the biggest things was I was to continue with my day-to-day.
Your routine. Yeah.
With my routine. Because again, that gave me people around me, that sort of gave me a space where there were, as I said, people.
Yeah.
So that was huge.
And you're still at the school at this point?
I was still working at the school.
Yeah.
And I could never thank them enough for helping me through that sort of period. It's something happened at school with a child, not from me, but like it was like a playground fight, and I actually felt sorry for one of the kids involved. And that simple feeling of feeling sorry sort of hit me a little bit differently than it would, you know, because when you see playground fights or you see things, you know, in schools, far out. Like, that's tough. But you move on.
Yeah.
He'll be right, she'll be right. You put an arm around their shoulder, whatever it is. But that hit me in the sense that I was like I'd felt something for the first time again. You know what I mean? Where I was old enough to realise I had just felt an emotion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I'd gone for a lengthy period of time without having to feel anything. And when I felt that and sort of like went through with what I was thinking, it really shifted and it really gave me something to latch onto. And then I was able to open up parts of me that I never thought existed through the sessions, the countless sessions, and the hours I spent on the phone and talking through everything that I was feeling. And then it became even harder because now I had to deal with the emotions.
Yeah.
Now I had to deal with, you know, losing a friend to cancer. I had to deal with Idris's passing. I had to deal with winning a school state titles, futsal championship, and having a teammate pass away in his sleep that night. So I was now dealing with everything that I had neglected from when I was young, even as far as the Sutherland Sharks not wanting to sign me when I was 13 years old. So then the next year was even tougher in that sense, but I was actually facing my emotions, actually dealing with my thoughts and what I was feeling and putting it out on the table.
Throughout the whole time, how important, obviously you tried a few different psychologists, throughout the time, and I've heard this a lot from people in similar situations to yourself. How important were they in your journey to recovery? The psychology you did find and did work with?
Yeah, paramount. Without them intervening, as I said, we're not having this conversation today. And I think mental health is now, I think it's more prominent in society. I think there's more people promoting the fact that you can go and get help, whereas, and we'll take it back to being a 14-year-old playing first grade, you had no time to feel and think, and you just had to get on with it. And I got so, I guess, I don't even know the word for it. I got so used to putting
conditions you.
That's a better word. I conditioned myself to not deal with things because of football, that I applied that even more so in my personal life, and just went on with the job.
Can I ask if there was a point when everything hit you? Like, as you say that you started to feel when the kid at school, was there a moment where it was just like it all just went bang? Like in terms of, as you say, all the things you started to unearth and all the things that you'd put away, did it all come ahead at the same, like, I wouldn't say at the same time, but like, was there a moment when you just were kind of overcome with it all?
Yeah, and it was probably a couple months, would have been about a month after, Idris has passed away, and I realised that life wasn't for me. But then I had to go through the phase when the PFA stepped in, very, very early on within that first week. I went through I blamed myself for Idris passing away, because I have a team of people here that are willing to help me, and he didn't get that chance. And I thought, why? I don't deserve that either.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So that was, I guess, one of the big moments in that first week of that journey back, was the reality that there was people out there that were actually willing to help me, and I blamed myself. Like I wish I was in his position. I wish he had got the help and I didn't.
One thing I think is so important about what you're saying just now is, like you're saying, there's people out there who want to help you, and I think it's important because you've mentioned how much of a family person you were, and obviously they're so close to you and all the rest of it, and they were unaware through all of this. Yeah. And someone who you probably didn't even know, even 2 or 3 people who you didn't even know would be in your corner to that extent. Yeah. You're talking about Trent, you're talking about Nick, Carroll, who you've met through football, and like you said, you were mates with them, you took a liking to you, etc. But in a moment like that, if someone said to you a year prior, hypothetically, you're in this circumstance, who's the first 10 people who would come to you would never mention these people.
That's right.
I think it's so important, because a lot of people who are in similar circumstances to yourself, or look, just having a tough fucking go of it at the moment, I think it's important, because a lot of people, like, I've done a fair bit with mental health in the past, with some work I've done with another friend of mine in the last few years. One thing that's common is there is some people who say, like, oh, some people do have people reach out, I have nobody to talk to. There's always somebody. There's always somebody. It can be an ex-colleague, it can be an ex, because no one wants to see anyone go through that. Yeah. And if you've had a positive impact somewhere, which everyone has, there's always somebody. There's always somebody. And I think on top of that, to your point of not finding somebody straight away, and this is for the topic we're talking about, obviously it's a bit deeper, but if you look at modern day dating apps, people swipe until they find the right thing. People often go to one psychologist and think, oh, that was crap, I'm not going back, didn't work. It's just like you need to find the right person for you, because you're going through your own, they've got their own specialty as well, and you've got your own personality, and you need to find trust in the person you're speaking to. And like you said, it was paramount, but you could go to one through a GP, you can go one through a private practice, and it's not for you. If you are someone in that circumstance and you've tried a psychology, then like it, do not give up on it. Give it another crack, keep going until you find the right person, because there is somebody 100% who's right for you, and it can completely, you're the fucking walking proof of it, can completely transform your life. So I think that's a really important distinction to make there. And obviously you sitting here right now, we'd be completely unaware of what you've went through. So from that period of the journey to feeling better, what was the point where you felt like, right, I'm not going to say over it because it's a bit of trauma, it's probably there forever, but where was the point when you thought, right, I'm on the positive, you can see the light again, say?
Yeah, it's a funny one because I kept up. This lasted a few years.
Do you know something? Sorry, I'm just going to cut in. I saw you not often, but
Yeah.
maybe a few times during this period.
Yeah,
And I felt that, like, you weren't yourself.
yeah, because you reached out.
And I
yeah.
reached out because I had a wee thing that something wasn't there. But I never in my life would have
Yeah.
known the depth of
Yeah.
obviously what you were going through.
Yeah, and I had obviously reason for that. I didn't want anyone, but there were you, and there was lots of people who could pick up
Get a vibe
that
off
I
you.
wasn't
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
I'm a very honest person, and what you see is what you get. I don't really change no matter what friend group. I've always been the same kid growing up. I had the same morals, the same values. I never changed no matter where I was. And when people got to know me, and when you get to know someone, you can tell without them saying anything. You can almost just feel it and see it.
Yeah.
So I spent a lot of time masking that, trying to keep that to myself, and I used social media as a way of telling people that there was nothing. There is nothing wrong.
What did you mean by that?
I would put photos up of, I don't know, I'd do stories. I'd be singing in the car. I'd be doing all sorts of day-to-day, putting up frappes, going to McDonald's. I was doing everything that everyone knew me for, going out, eating desserts and all the
Was
rest
that
of
tactical? Like, were you intentional doing
it.
that?
Just so people wouldn't
Deflect.
ask me
Yeah, okay.
anything. And then it obviously got to that point where I just didn't have energy for anything, to be honest. But going back to what you said, there wasn't a defining moment. I think it was a gradual progress, which took a lot of hard work to sort of see, to feel that I could feel myself coming back to reality. And I guess I dove deeper into my relationship with my dad and my relationship with my mum and my relationship with my family and then my upbringing. And we removed football from the equation of all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And really stripped it back to the human being that I was and what I felt that I missed. And then when I started to sort of open up to particularly my dad, I guess that was a real defining moment where, because he was really receptive and really supportive, which obviously he would have been anyway, but I didn't know. I always felt like if I wanted something, I went to my mum.
Yeah.
Not because my dad would say no. I knew I'd get it with my mum.
Yeah, I understand.
You know, and there's a lot of families like that. My dad came from Mauritius, so very, very different upbringing, different personality. So seeing that there was I might have been wrong about that, about his personality, and being comfortable enough to go to him, I guess set off a little bit of a train in, I might have been wrong in a lot of other things as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started to open up and I started to share to an extent, not with everyone, but I started to bring more people in. And I guess with all the strategies that I had in place to sort of bring me back to that reality and bring me back to normality. And whereas I want to be here now, I want to wake up tomorrow. Yeah, that was probably one of the big defining moments, that relationship with my dad.
So your relationship with your dad now must be stronger than ever.
Yeah.
Aye.
Yeah, I remember a couple of nights after I had told him and told my mum and dad what had happened, he came into the room and took off his cross and put it on my neck and said, no matter where you are in the world, just look down and you'll know that I'm there. So that's that cross hasn't left my sight since.
Yeah, I bet.
Question, like, just on that, your dad being from Mauritius, is he, would you say he's similar in terms of his emotion? He doesn't really show a lot of emotion when he's with, like, kind of day-to-day actions. It was,
and I think he has learned, I think, in all of this as well to open up, and I'm seeing a real different side of him. My mum is very, very emotionally intelligent, and she obviously, of course, has been fantastic and equally as important as my dad. So I don't want to say it's just my dad.
Yeah, of course.
Definitely been both parents.
It's probably more on the spectrum of,
Yeah.
I think most guys listening will probably think the same. Like
That's
their dad's a bit more reserved.
Yeah.
Usually, don't emotional side. Like most people's mum with their son is emotional in general.
Yeah, that's right.
So to have that contrast of like first like a different person.
Yeah, 100%. And I think we've all learned and grown together. And my relationship, obviously, I think my relationship with a lot of people now is very, very different. Because I'm okay with being a little bit more vulnerable. Like I said, what I'm telling you guys now, there's a lot of people that don't know to that extent. And I've always, I guess, wanted to share that, not for myself and to say, oh, look what I came from. It was more so that it can be done.
Do you know something that's like, it's really fucking brave, like the way you've sat and spoken about this, and that's a credit to you in terms of that journey you've been on. And I think it's so important because, as you say, there are so many people that have issues, and that wouldn't say issues, that have things that they don't know how to deal with their emotions, and they've got all these things inside them and they'll often feel like they're by themselves.
Yeah.
So to hear, as you say, that I've been in dark places, but there's a way back.
Yeah.
Is so powerful.
Yeah.
And as you say, I'm so confident there'll be people listening that it will help massively.
Yeah. And that's what the hope is, I suppose.
Mate, obviously thanks for sharing it with us. I didn't know what this is always going to be on the podcast today, and obviously, most importantly, thanks you're still here today to be able to share it with us, mate. That's the most important thing. I think a lot of people, as you said, were listening who, like, there's fucking no doubt about it. Like, I sit here with things, Chaz sits here with things, we've all got our own things. How dark, how deep it goes is completely independent, but I think that from me being a football podcast, I think it keeps standing in my head is the fact it was football people.
Yeah.
How they're the ones that reached out, who weren't like your best mate in football. It was people who you came across in football, and I think everyone listens to a football fan and a football team and a football coach. Like how important the relationships you have within football, it can quite literally save your life, is fucking phenomenal, man.
I think that it's something that you almost take for granted, right? As a football
100%.
community, because it's like, look at us, we're here through football. Like that's the reality of our lives in Australia is because of football.
I've been mates through football.
I met him through football.
Well, we all met each other.
I met you through football.
100%, and it's people that aren't involved in a team sport don't get it. Like, see, even like try to explain to my missus that, oh, boys, weekend away, you know, all these things are so important because it builds that relationship. That, as you say, someone one day will reach out that, fuck, I've not heard from you in months, and it's like, how you doing? I've got this, or do you need this? Do you know what I mean? And it's so special, that kind of the bond that you can kind of develop in the relationships through a sport.
So can I ask now, 2025, I'm assuming you've still got strategies you're using if things pop up. Could you share some of them?
Yeah. So journaling was one of the main ones.
Yep.
And it's so funny because your journal is personal to you, and you're only it's for you to sort of write what you're feeling and your thoughts and expressions and all that, and it's kept in a book, and it's for your eyes. And it's strange. It's even a little bit funny that I was actually not writing down everything that I felt or all of my emotions simply because I wanted to keep it hidden still.
So it was defeated the purpose.
Yeah, so which defeated the purpose. Like the whole idea is to get everything out, yet I was still hiding
To yourself.
that from myself.
Yeah, that's interesting, eh?
So that took a bit of time, and I finally sort of bridged that hurdle. Music is another one.
Yeah.
If I can go for a drive, put the music on, I always found that music had a way of expressing sometimes your feelings and your thoughts and your connection through songs. So it's almost like someone's telling you this is what you're feeling.
Yeah.
And I always sort of found songs that sort of mimic the, I guess, story of my life. The best breakup songs are the easiest one, I suppose.
Yeah.
You can find the songs that sort of explain everything. So I use music and journaling, and I actually picking up the phone and calling someone as another tool that I have now, to not only ask about their day, to share mine as well. And I got into the habit of being able to share and picking up the phone, because when you send a text message, as good as it is to check in, hey, how you going? You can hide so much.
Tone of voice on the phone.
You can hide so much.
Yeah.
You know, on the phone, you can hear it in someone's voice.
Yeah.
Then in person, even better.
Yeah.
So I try now to, if ever I'm feeling a little bit lost, because I still do, and we were chatting about it before. Football and me is like, it's a real love-hate relationship now, and I guess I'm happy that there's a bit of love to that, because during that period I said I wanted nothing to do with football. I mean, I was deleting photos, deleting videos. I didn't want anyone to know that I played football. I wanted to forget it myself. So I guess that's why I tried to sort of, when I got that sort of spark back a little bit, I got into coaching, because it kind of gave me sort of, I wasn't out there doing the hard work on the pitch, running, putting my body through hell. I was actually helping, and that's what I wanted to do. I got into mental health work in Melbourne, and I became like a mental health social worker as well, because I promised myself if I was to ever get out of this space that I'm in, that I would give back some way. So I did that through working in for a mental health organisation, and now I found that job a little bit too much when I moved back to Sydney. So I again put coaching as like that little, where I feel like I'm helping on a mental side as well as a football side.
Yeah.
So it's, that's what I love doing at the moment.
I think it's class is, obviously we're in the digital era, probably going even more so in the next 5, 10, 20 years. But there's something powerful about writing something down. There's so much so that even when you have pen and paper journaling, you can even write your own emotion, which is mental. Music, one of the simplest fucking things in the world. And picking up my phone and speaking to somebody. Yes, you can DM someone on Instagram. Yes, you can like message people, and you can do all sorts of things. You can post something on the socials to give. Because on the flip side of what you suggested, where you use social media as a way of making it look like you are okay.
Deflecting,
A lot of people do the opposite, who have been in those situations where they leave subtle hints that everything's not okay.
Yeah.
And then often again, people don't pick up on it.
Yeah, and
it goes, and they think, oh, well, nobody's even picked up. It's been so subtle that people don't know.
Yeah.
I think in those circumstances, nowadays, I think going back to the simpler forms of, as you said, talking to somebody, hearing their voice, even just, like you said, you seen a van, knowing there's a human presence there, was enough for you.
Yeah.
I mean, that can be enough, because you know it's like there's something powerful about that. Writing it down, don't know why. It's like when you say write goals down. If you just type it up in a Apple Notes or whatever, compared to writing a pen and paper, the difference is mental. Like I do a brain dump once a week. I'm doing a big brain dump. See if I write it on a bit of paper, the difference psychologically is massive. You don't know what it is. It's just something powerful with it. I think that obviously now, especially younger generation going through nothing but digital era, how many people even know how to write now? You know what I mean? It's so, but there's something so powerful in the simplicity of that, man. Oh, it's fucking
I think
mental.
It's so important that, like, as you say, growing up when you did and when we did, no one really spoke to you about help or the mental. Like, you didn't know. Like, there was no understanding. Like, you were a man, you just kept these things in, you put it away, and you got on. You just got on. You kept going. I think it's important that people realise that it is okay to seek help, but it's okay to talk, and it's okay to be emotional. It's okay to cry. All these things are fine. Like, it's probably very healthy.
Yeah.
But as you say, we were kind of probably the last generation of it not being all right.
Yeah, that's right.
You weren't supposed to cry.
Yeah.
You're a man, you're strong.
So and I think the spectrum of that as well is like, because I feel like it's always like, people think mental health is like, oh, I was having like a big event like Jordan's just explained, but sometimes just it can not even get to that point by having the conversations prior, by having, if you're someone who's highly anxious or you're going through a lot in your life, it can probably dealt with a lot sooner by just saying to one of your mates or someone you trust and just saying, oh, but I'm in a fucking nightmare at the moment, blah, blah, blah. Because chances are, and I've done it myself, I've had the conversation with some people, 9 times out of 10 they turn back with saying like, mate, same. Yeah. I'm having the exact same fucking issues. And before you know it, an hour has passed and you've just shared this conversation with someone, you're like, fuck, I feel 100 times better. Yeah. I'm not alone here. Yeah. And it needs that other person just to realise, oh, it's all right, I can talk about this as well. And I
think you'll be surprised that people want to help you. Do you know what I mean? Like, people genuinely care.
Yeah.
And it could be like someone you've met once or twice. If somebody's got an issue, like, I think human nature encourages you to help.
That's right.
So it's like, it's not, people are never alone. So
In the NPL space, is there anyone that you know is aware of doing this sort of work? Like supporting players or?
No, I'm not quite entirely sure. I know I had one of the boys from Preston last year actually sort of stepped into what I was doing. This is away from football, but I'm not sure. Like, I would love to see clubs engage or engage in someone that can go around or be available or for players. As I said, and sometimes it's really hard to talk to people that know and love you. I think that's one of the biggest things, is because I had such a support network, and in that time it sort of was a disadvantage to me because I didn't want to put anything else on anyone. So you have the mind frame of, if I tell him this, he's going to worry about me. I don't want him to worry about me.
He's going to ruin his day and his life. And, I don't need
fuck
that.
I'm not telling him. I'm not telling him. And all these people that I care about. And I guess, one of the things that I sort of did during this recovery phase was I used to meet up with a couple of friends and go to the city every Friday night, and we would go to the arcade, and then we would go and feed one of the homeless people on the street. And we would do that every Friday until one night we couldn't do it as a group, and actually went just myself. And then I was going every Friday by myself, sitting down, having a meal with a homeless person. And I used that as a way to keep practicing talking about myself, because they were telling me about their lives, and you can imagine it's quite scattered. Yeah, they're on the street, and you can't imagine how they got there, and they'll tell you all sorts of conspiracies and all sorts of different things. And I was always a good listener, and I would sit there for 2-3 hours, listen, and also talk about me, not wanting to hear anything in return, but just practicing getting it out.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was able, it's funny because then I was able to now talk to the people that really loved me the most. I found it easier because I had felt like I had been doing this like clockwork.
Yeah.
Right. But in terms of working with young players in the NPL, I don't really know if there's anyone that's in that sort of space at the moment. I try and do it now with our boys, and then anyone else that reaches out and flicks me a message about going through some tough stuff. We had a player actually pull out of the season early on because he had some personal battles and personal issues. Yep. And I suppose I hoped that I helped him in some way, but he was there, didn't play a minute, but was there in Central Coast in tears of how happy he was that we had just got promoted. So I'm always willing to sort of work with and help anyone that sort of knocks on my door anyway.
Well, I do know there's, for the youth people, Batir are very prevalent in Sydney and around Australia. I know Nick Brown, who runs that. They are a charitable organisation who run education, loads of things for youth and mental health space, and then also Black Dog's obviously one that's very common around Australia as well. But there's a ton of services. A GP, you mentioned GPs now have, you get, I think it's 8 or 7 free mental health sessions on the GP now. That's not very well publicised, but if you go to your local GP, if finances are an issue, you can get 7 free mental health sessions with a professional psychologist. So there's a ton of options. And look, genuinely, if you've got any questions with this, reach out. I've got a lot of friends in the space. I'm sure Jordan has as well, and Chaz may have as well. 100% mean to say, like, you can message us, you can phone us, you can do it, and we can point you in the right direction. There's a ton of people we can quickly point you in the right direction with, just like Trent did with Jordan. There's a lot, if it's not us, somebody else will point in the right direction. Please don't stay quiet about something like this. Very, 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 very important topic. And mate, honestly, thanks so much for sharing it with us.
No, it's I appreciate obviously having me on and giving me the platform to sort of get that off my chest. As I said, I've been holding that for a little bit and wanted to do it in, I guess, the right environment, just to one person takes this and sees that and makes a bit of a difference, and changing their life is one person less than me not saying anything. So
it means a lot to us that you've obviously felt comfortable enough to come on and share it with us. So
and this, we've obviously have a relationship. So and the things like I don't forget a lot, and I remember I'd more so spoke to you because we had bumped into each other more than I did with you. Yep. But you always spoke. We always caught up, no matter whatever we were, flick a message here and there. But I remember Chaz sort of because running into him a lot, he always reached out. So I guess sort of like me saying thank you again. Is my way of coming on here.
Okay, brilliant, mate.
I appreciate it.
I don't really think we should do anything else on the pod. I think let's just wrap it up
Yeah,
there,
that's
mate.
it,
Brilliant,
perfect.
absolutely superb. And yeah, we'll be back next week with another episode of the Championship. Don't know if this one will be topped, but
Nah, it was
Superb,
actually
mate.
very powerful. Thank you.
Yeah, very different to what I've seen you guys get up to. But yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
brilliant, mate.
Thank you, mate.
Cheers.
Yeah, good episode, man. Yeah. Thanks for having us. What's that guy's name you said? The gaffer was the one.
Oh, Danny.